Chapter 91. While everyone was clamoring for Long Yu to be executed, they all turned their gazes towards Zhong Yunzong. Zhong Yunzong merely smiled. He stroked his mustache with one hand and looked at the black-robed Yu Shuai-yun with a smile in his eyes. Elder Yu, I think you're the most suitable person to announce who the sinner is, Bai Yunzong said with a smile, causing Wu Jinxin to frown slightly. A hint of confusion appeared on his face. He and Bai Yunzong had agreed to punish Long Yu as soon as they came out, and Bai Yunzong had agreed. However, why was Bai Yunzong allowing Elder Yu to speak now? Looking at the smile on Bai Yunzong's face, Wu Jinxin suddenly felt that he might have been tricked by this guy. However, he did not think that Yu Shuai-yun would be able to do anything. He had forced Long Yu away in the bamboo forest of the Elder Pavilion. Even if Long Yu managed to gather the dragon headgrass and restore Yu Shuai-yun's consciousness in such a short period of time, he would not be able to produce any evidence to prove that he was colluding with Wu Li. He and Wu Li had only met once recently, and there was a mutated coiled serpent's corpse near the place where they had met. That mutated coiled serpent is a demonic beast that has condensed its true spirit. Naturally, it was not killed by Long Yu. In that case, Long Yu and Yu Shuai-yun could not have been nearby at that time. Wu Jinxin's heart trembled. He knew that this was a crucial moment. He looked at Yu Shuai-yun. As long as Yu Shuai-yun did not produce sufficient evidence, he would not admit to anything. As long as he could get through this, Yu Shuai-yun would not be able to live. The 1,000-thread sect's shadow entanglement poison will take effect in 4 days. Where are you going to find flowerless acorns and tulip flowers in these 4 days? Wu Jinxin scoffed in his heart and looked at Yu Shuai-yun as if he was looking at a dead man. At this moment, the thousands of Jintian clan disciples who had gathered outside the Sky Suppression main hall became nervous. Was Long Yu, the guy who had created so many records in the Jintian clan, really going to be killed? And if he really wanted to kidnap Yu Shuai-yun, what did he want to do to her? This was what everyone present wanted to know. Who's the sinner? I believe that most of the disciples of the Jintian clan here think that Long Yu is a sinner who intends to kidnap me. Yu Shuai-yun, who was wearing a black robe, stood steadily and said calmly, "Isn't that the truth?" Wu Jinxin harumphed coldly and yelled, "Yu Shuai-yun, I know that you and an elder of the Broken Saber sect, Wu Li, have always had a grudge against each other." When these words came out, many people were confused. Why did this matter involve the Broken Saber sect? The Broken Blade sect was also one of the Great Tang Kingdom's 7 major sects. The Jintian clan disciples present had certainly heard of it and were not unfamiliar with it. Unexpectedly, Elder Yu Shuai-yun had a grudge with a Broken Blade sect elder named Wu Li. "I have enmity with Wu Li, so what?" Yu Shuai-yun was not anxious at all and asked with interest. "Yu Shuai-yun, this time, Wu Li wanted to harm you." As Wu Jinxin spoke, he looked at Long Yu and said sternly, "And according to my investigation, this Long Yu is Wu Li's accomplice." When these words came out, the crowd was in an uproar. This Long Yu is actually an accomplice of the Broken Blade sect's Elder Wu Li and wanted to kill Elder Yu Shuai-yun? Damn it, such a thief must not be allowed to live. He actually colluded with someone from another sect to harm our own sect's elder. His crime is unforgivable. I didn't expect this Long Yu to be such a person. To think that I thought our Jintian clan had produced another genius. Who would have thought that he was such a scum? Many people voiced out and glared at Long Yu. Long Yu. Beside Long Yu, Yu Shuai-yun's disciple, Lu Guanming, also glared angrily at Long Yu. "You actually colluded with an outsider to harm my master. I'll kill you. You're quite talented and loyal, but unfortunately, your brain isn't that good." Long Yu calmly glanced at the dark-skinned man. "What did you say?" Lu Guanming was even more furious. Just as he was about to attack Long Yu, Yu Shuai-yun, who was in front of him, glared back at him. After being glared at by Yu Shuai-yun, Lu Guanming was like a defeated rooster. He immediately became quiet and did not dare to say another word. "Long Yu." At this moment, an anxious female voice rang out within the arena. In the next instant, a petite figure rushed out from the crowd, rushing towards the location of Long Yu. Liao Lele? When Long Yu heard this, he turned around to look. As expected, When he turned around, he saw Liao Lele rushing towards him. Her figure was dressed in a blue robe, and the anxious expression on her petite face made one's heart ache for her. Liao Lele had been worried sick for the past few days. Although Elder Bai had been telling her that Long Yu would be fine, she could not help but worry for Long Yu. When she heard that Long Yu had returned to the sect, she immediately rushed over. However, when she heard that Long Yu had been announced by Wu Jianxin in the Heavenly Suppression Great Hall, he had colluded with Elder Wu Li of the Broken Saber sect. This was a great crime of betraying the sect. So Liao Lele rushed in without hesitation. You really colluded with Wu Li? Liao Lele ran to Long Yu's side and glared at him. What do you think? Long Yu asked. Of course I believe you. I won't. Liao Lele scoffed and said, otherwise, I wouldn't have come to your side. Otherwise, wouldn't I be treated as an accomplice? Long Yu was left speechless. Enough is enough, all of you, Wu Jianxin said in a deep voice. He was extremely displeased when he saw a female disciple running to Long Yu's side to defend him. It was a slap to his face. Long Yu, you colluded with Elder Wu Li of the Broken Saber sect and promised to bring Elder Yu to him. In return, he would give you the pills to improve your cultivation. Wu Jianxin glared at Long Yu and snapped, do you admit to your crimes? What a joke. Long Yu, don't even know who Wu Li is, and you're accusing me of this. Long Yu burst out laughing. Why don't you call Wu Li here so I can have a face-to-face confrontation with him? How dare you refuse to admit to your crimes? Wu Jianxin harumphed coldly. I've obtained solid evidence. If you admit to your crimes, I can let you off easily. If you wait for me to present you with the evidence, you, a traitor of the sect, will die. If you have the evidence, show it to me. If I, Long Yu, am found guilty, I'll commit suicide at once. Long Yu was not afraid at all. He faced Wu Jianxin in a straightforward manner. How dare you, Long Yu, talk to me in such a tone? It's obvious that you have no respect for the elders of the sect. Even if you have any achievements in the future, you'll still bring harm to the sect. Wu Jianxin's expression turned colder. He did not expect that he, an elder of the sect, would fail to intimidate a mere ninth-layer martial path disciple. Didn't you say you have evidence? Long Yu let out a hollow laugh when he saw Wu Jianxin changing the topic. Where's your evidence? Hurry up and hand it over, don't make me wait. Otherwise, as an elder of the Jintian clan, you'll become a joke who only knows how to accuse your disciples of crimes. The crowd was shocked when they heard this. No one had expected Long Yu to have such sharp words. He did not even give face to Elder Wu Jianxin. Almost every Jintian clan disciple, regardless of whether Long Yu was guilty or not, felt that Long Yu was done for. Even if Long Yu could escape this calamity and continue to be a core disciple of the Jintian clan, so what? Now that he had offended Wu Jianxin, who knew what kind of trouble he would face when he received the reward of becoming a core disciple in the future, many people felt that Long Yu was too stupid to speak to Wu Jianxin in such a manner. Little did they know that Long Yu was not afraid at all. Wu Jianxin was trembling with anger. Ever since he had joined the Jintian clan, he had never met a disciple who spoke to him in such a manner. He had arranged for a witness from the Breaking Saber sect, the #1 core disciple of the Breaking Saber sect, Duan Mie. As long as Duan Mie stepped forward and proved that Long Yu was colluding with Wu Li, Long Yu would definitely die. However, Wu Jianxin could not figure out why Duan Mie was not here yet. Yu Shuiyun finally let out a chuckle when he felt that the time was right. He took out the true spiritual marking from his sleeve and said, Evidence? I do have some here, but it's not evidence of Long Yu colluding with Wu Li, but, as he finished speaking, he crushed the true spiritual imprint. Instantly, a wave of true spiritual energy condensed into a picture in the sky above his head. In the scene, there was a forest and a waterfall not far away. At the bottom of the waterfall, the corpse of a giant poisonous snake lay by the river, followed by two figures appearing at the same time, Wu Jianxin and Wu Li. Seeing this scene, Wu Jianxin immediately knew that he had been exposed. His originally dark face turned even darker. He never would have imagined that when he met with Wu Li, Yu Shuiyun was right beside him and had even carved a true spiritual imprint. Not good, let's go. Wu Jianxin immediately knew that the situation was not good. He moved his feet and tried to escape. However, Tracking White Cloud was prepared for this. Little Boo, Tracking White Cloud, let out a soft yell. I'll stop him. Boo, who was beside Yu Shuiyun, immediately moved. The figure under his tight black shirt moved, and the silhouette of the heavenly eagle's true spirit appeared. The eagle's cry echoed throughout the entire place. Heavenly Eagle, suppress. But let out a roar and chased after Wu Jianxin, who was trying to escape. The heavenly eagle merged with the heaven-suppressing aura and instantly suppressed Wu Jianxin. This scene caused Long Yu's heart to skip a beat. Bu's strength was so strong that he dared to chase after an elder of the Elder Cabinet, Wu Jianxin. Previously, although Long Yu knew that Bu was very strong, he didn't think that he was strong to this extent. However, on second thought, Long Yu was able to kill a first-layer true spirit secret realm enforcement elder. As a number 1 core disciple of the Jintian clan and the sect leader's direct disciple, it was normal for Bu to be able to deal with Wu Jianxin. At this moment, many people were still paying attention to the scene in Yu Shuiyun's true spiritual marking. Very soon, they clearly understood who the sinner was. Wu Jianxin, the sect elder Wu Jianxin, had colluded with the Broken Saber sect's elder Wu Li to kill elder Yu Shuiyun, and even put the blame on Long Yu. At that moment, everyone shifted their gaze to the side. Wu Jianxin's plot had been exposed, and he was trying to escape. Could Bu really take him down by himself? Chapter 92. Under everyone's gaze, Wu Jianxin took a step forward, and the heavenly eagle, true soul phantom, behind him shot down like a meteor towards the escaping Wu Jianxin. This strike contained an incomparably tyrannical pressure that suppressed the heavens, causing Long Yu, who was standing nearby, to feel a burst of violent aura. Wu Jianxin, Elder Yu, and Elder Yu should all be third-layer true spirit realm experts. Seeing this, Long Yu thought to himself, I don't know how many layers the true spirit realm is divided into, but at the beginning, it should be from the first to the third layer. If a third-layer true spirit realm cultivator wants to deal with a first-layer true spirit realm cultivator, he can do so with a wave of his hand, just like how a third-layer martial path cultivator can deal with a first-layer martial path cultivator. Even though they were both in the third rank of the true spirit secret realm, the difference in strength between them was huge. For example, Wu Jianxin and Wu Jianxin who were chasing each other. You're courting death. Wu Jianxin was furious. Seeing that Wu Jianxin dared to chase after him, he immediately formed a suppressing tiger true soul behind him. This was Wu Jianxin's true soul. It was different from the Wang family's Tiger King true soul. The Wang family cultivated the Tiger King skill and formed the Tiger King true soul, but Wu Jianxin's true soul was the suppressing tiger. The two true souls produced different types of energy. However, both Wang Tianjua and Wu Jianxin were vulnerable in the eyes of Wu Jianxin's heavenly eagle true soul. Heavenly eagle, suppressing. Soul, suppressing fist. The heavenly eagle's true soul shadow instantly descended on the tiger of suppression's true soul behind Wu Jianxin. A deafening cry of an eagle and a roar of a tiger rang out at the same time. Then, the suppressing tiger true soul was suppressed by the larger heavenly eagle true soul, and it was on the verge of collapsing. At this moment, Wu Jianxin's punch had arrived. Soul-suppressing fist, a punch that could shock one's soul. Wu Jianxin still wanted to block the attack, but he was unable to use any martial skills in such a hurry. Furthermore, the profound qi in his body had already been firmly suppressed by the heavenly eagle's true spirit, so it was impossible for him to use any movement martial skills. The punch fell. With a simple punch, Bu Feng gathered the power of the heavens and earth and directly collided with Wu Jianxin's punch. Immediately after, Wu Jianxin was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. On the other hand, his walking body was as steady as Mount Tai, which showed the difference in strength between the two. Master, fortunately, I didn't fail you. Xiao Qin took a few steps forward and picked up Wu Jianxin, who was unable to execute any martial techniques. Then he tossed Wu Jianxin before track of white cloud. At this moment, Yu Shuiyun's imprint of true spirit came to an end. At the edge of the forest, Wu Jianxin and Wu Li left after their meeting. The scene in the imprint of true spirit became the basis for Wu Jianxin's conviction. With evidence, Wu Jianxin could not escape the blame. Wu Jianxin, you were once an elder of the Jintian clan. Do you know your crimes? White Cloud asked indifferently as he looked down at Wu Jianxin, who had been completely suppressed by Wu Jianxin. Wu Jianxin had a ferocious look on his face. He seemed to want to struggle and escape, but he couldn't escape the suppression of Bu Feng's heaven-suppressing power. In addition, Bu Feng's punch had damaged his meridians. At this moment, he basically had no ability to move. It seems like you're not willing to admit your crimes. Then, as the sect leader, I'll announce your 3 crimes. Track of White Cloud raised his head and scanned his surroundings, before glancing at the disciples of the Jintian clan. He then proceeded to announce the 3 crimes that Wu Jianxin had committed. The first crime, Wu Jianxin, as an elder of the Jintian clan, you allowed your disciple to be so unreasonable to the extent that he even occupied the valley to cultivate, seriously disrupting the order of the disciples' cultivation. You've committed the crime of using your authority as an elder to act recklessly. Many among the crowd clapped their hands in glee upon hearing the words. It could be said that Yin had occupied the valley to cultivate not only for a day or two, but for a few months in a row. Thus many of the core disciples did not dare to voice their anger. Now that they heard track of White Cloud announcing his crimes, many of them felt extremely satisfied. The second crime, I've asked you, Wu Jianxin, to assign a mission to search for dragon headgrass, flowerless acorns, and fragrant currant flowers to save Elder Yu Shuiyin. However, you've purposely delayed the mission. You've committed the crime of not saving your fellow disciples. Track of White Cloud's eyes flickered with a hint of murderous intent as he spoke. It was obvious that Track of White Cloud had been aware of Wu Jianxin's actions all along, but he had chosen not to speak up in order to catch the big fish. Luckily, I've come prepared. I've personally gone to the soaring serpent abyss to collect 3 types of herbs and asked Elder Bai to refine them into pills. Track of White Cloud said calmly. Following his words, Elder Bai, who was initially absent from the crowd, stroked his beard and approached him with a smile. Long Yu was surprised to hear Elder Bai refine pills into pills. So Elder Bai is a pill alchemist of the Jintian clan. No wonder he managed to save my life twice with the healing, sacred medicine. Long Yu came to a realization. Besides, Track of White Cloud had been aware of everything and had asked Elder Bai to prepare the pills. Yu Shuiyun's life was not in danger. Elder Bai tossed a small porcelain bottle containing the pills to Yu Shuiyun. Yu Shuiyun caught it and smiled at Master Bai gratefully. She then opened the small porcelain bottle and swallowed the pill without checking if it was really an antidote. The trust between the 2 elders had undoubtedly moved the surrounding disciples of the Jintian clan. Wu Jianxin was dumbfounded too. His eyes flickered with disbelief. Yu Shuiyun had consumed the antidote. Track of White Cloud had already asked Elder Bai to refine the pills into pills, but he had not given them to Yu Shuiyun. Was he trying to expose him? That was too cunning. However, Wu Jianxin didn't realize that he was the one who had brought this upon himself. The third crime. White Cloud Zone lowered his head to look at Wu Jianxin, disappointment flickering in his eyes. As an elder of the heaven-suppressing sect, Wu Jianxin, you colluded with the Broken Saber sect's elder Wu Li, causing the Broken Saber sect's core, disciple Duan Mia, to infiltrate the elder cabinet and attempt to assassinate Elder Yu Shuiyin. Not only that, you even framed Long Yu of the Broken Saber sect in an attempt to push the blame away. This is a crime of betrayal. Betrayal. Wu Jianxin's face turned ashen when he heard the words. According to the rules, if a disciple or elder of the Jintian clan committed the crime of betrayal, Their cultivation would be crippled, and they would be banished from the Jintian clan forever. Shattering your dantian? Do you want me to do it myself? Track of White Cloud said calmly as he looked at Wu Jianxin. I'll fight it out with you. Wu Jianxin was extremely unwilling to give up. His eyes flickered fiercely as he sprang forward and threw a punch at Track of White Cloud. Stubborn. Track of White Cloud harumphed coldly. He flicked his mustache and slammed his palm down. Bang! A terrifying suppression descended from the sky and shrouded Wu Jianxin within it. Following this, a giant spear appeared behind Track of White Cloud. This was the true spirit of the sect leader. Long Yu stared with his eyes open wide. This giant spear's true spirit is different from all the true spirits that I've seen before. The other true spirits are just illusions, but this spear feels like it has a solid form. The suppression it emits is much stronger than the illusions. Was this the realm above the third layer true spirit realm? It allowed one to transform the true spirit into a solid form, allowing the strength of the true spirit to multiply, making it harder for the enemy to defeat it. Once the martial cultivator was able to overcome this barrier, their strength would improve significantly. No wonder Track of White Cloud was able to become the sect leader. A sect leader would surely be stronger than an ordinary elder. The giant spear instantly suppressed Wu Jianxin with the appearance of the true spirit. Even with his eyes open wide, Wu Jianxin was unable to move an inch. He could only watch Track of White Cloud's palm landing on his dantian. Puff! Wu Jianxin's dantian was shattered by the sect leader's palm. Following this, he was sent flying with blood spurting out of his mouth. He fell in front of Yu Shuiyun and Long Yu. Your dantian has been destroyed. From now on, you are expelled from the Jintian clan, never to return. Track of White Cloud finally announced that Wu Jianxin was no longer an elder of the Jintian clan. Two people quietly retreated from the crowd. They were Yi Yin and Lu Shucheng, who had been watching from the side. Yi Yin was Wu Jianxin's disciple. However, when Wu Jianxin met with misfortune, Yi Yin had no intention of coming out. Instead, he had stayed far away, afraid that he would be dragged into the matter. Wu Jianxin's death didn't matter. Yi Yin, was still ranked 7th among the core disciples. No, Luo Tailong seemed to be dead. If that was the case, then Yin, would be ranked 6th among the core disciples. His future achievements would still be limitless. However, he didn't know that his actions were completely seen by some people. Not long after, rumors of him being a cold-blooded and heartless person would spread. He had seen his master, who had doted on him, being crippled, but he didn't dare to say a word. Many people felt sorry for Wu Jianxin in their hearts. Broken Blade Sect's Elder Wu Li has arrived. At that instant, a voice came from the mountain path leading to the Heavenly Suppression Hall. Following this, the crowd opened up a path for Elder Wu Li from the Broken Blade Sect to be brought over. Long Yu turned his head around and saw a few Jintian clan elders moving out at the same time. They were suppressing a tall man in a black robe as they slowly made their way to the Heavenly Suppression Hall. From Yu Shuiyun's true spiritual marking, everyone could tell that the tall man in a black robe was the Broken Blade Sect's elder, Wu Li. At that moment, Wu Li was captured by the Jintian clan's elders and was subdued. With a glance, Long Yu saw the handsome young man in a green robe, Elder Li Bufan, among the group of elders. Li Bufan was also a disciple of Tracked White Cloud, but he was no longer a core disciple. Instead, he was a member of the Elder Pavilion. I wonder who's stronger between Li Bufan and Bufang. Of course, Long Yu was only slightly curious about this. The most important thing now wasn't to find out the difference in strength between Bufang and Li Bufan, but how to deal with Wu Li. After all, Wu Li was an elder of the Broken Blade Sect. It wouldn't be appropriate to deal with him like Wu Jianxin. Long Yu's thoughts were the same as everyone else's. How would Tracked White Cloud deal with Wu Li? Wu Li, who was being suppressed by the group of elders, didn't show any signs of panic. Instead, he was calm and collected, as if he was taking a stroll in the Heavenly Suppression Hall. It was obvious that Wu Li was fearless. So what if the Jintian clan captured him? He didn't believe that the Jintian clan would dare to do anything to him. Chapter 93. Soon, Wu Li arrived in front of Bai Yunzong under the suppression of the 4 Jintian clan elders. He lowered his head and glanced at Wu Jianxin, whose cultivation base had been destroyed. He chuckled and said, "Sect leader Bai, you're really good to be willing to destroy an elder of the sect. I, Wu Li, am impressed. What does it have to do with me, whether you're impressed or not?" Bai Yunzong said calmly. He did not take Wu Li seriously at all, as the true form of a giant spear appeared behind him. When Wu Li arrived in front of him, Bai Yunzong flipped his hand and the true form of the spear began to vibrate. "What are you trying to do?" Wu Li's expression changed. He could tell that Bai Yunzong was planning to kill him, but why would he dare to do so? He, Wu Li, was an elder of the Breaking Saber sect. In the entire Breaking Saber sect, there were only a dozen or so elders. If he, Wu Li, were to die in the Jintian clan, the Breaking Blade sect would not show mercy to the Jintian clan. It might even lead to a war between the two sects. "What am I trying to do?" Bai Yunzong wore a surprised expression. "I would like to ask you, why have you been loitering around the Jintian clan? Are you trying to kill an elder of the Jintian clan?" "Haha, Bai Yunzong, listen up." Wu Li burst into laughter. "I, Wu Li, am only here to collect some herbs. I haven't done anything else." "If that's the case, who trespassed into the bamboo forest where the Jintian clan's elder pavilion is located and tried to harm Yushuayan?" Bai Yunzong asked with interest. "That was done by a core disciple of the Breaking Blade sect, Duan Mie. If you want to look for someone, look for him. This matter has nothing to do with me," Wu Li said shamelessly. However, his words sounded weak in the ears of the nearby Jintian clan disciples. Yu Shuiyun's imprint of true spirit had already conveyed the truth. No matter what Wu Li said, he would not be able to escape the crime of harming Yu Shuiyan. Duan Ye, he managed to escape this time around. However, you, Wu Li, have fallen into our hands. Bai Yunzong smiled indifferently. With a flip of his hand, a wave of killing intent emanated from the true spirit of the spear, instantly enveloping the black-robed Wu Li. "You dare?" Wu Li's expression changed drastically when he saw this. "Why wouldn't I dare?" White cloud gripped the long spear in his hand, and his entire being seemed to have transformed into a god of slaughter on the battlefield. His entire body was filled with a terrifying killing intent. He used to be a general of the Great Tang Empire. He was decisive in killing and never hesitating. A simple spear, carrying with it a boundless killing intent, pierced towards Wu Li. Wu Li still had a look of disbelief on his face. The spear had instantly pierced through his chest, and even his heart had been pierced. Anyone who dares to offend the Jintian clan will be killed without mercy. Traceless white cloud stood with spear in hand. At this moment, his domineering aura was on full display. As Wu Li's body fell to the ground, the surrounding Jintian clan disciples cheered. Their sect leader was too domineering. So what if you're an elder of the Broken Blade sect? Anyone who dares to offend the Jintian clan will be killed without mercy. At this moment, all the Jintian clan disciples were influenced by Yunzong's words. They all felt that coming to the Jintian clan was the right decision. With such a domineering sect leader, why would the Broken Blade sect not prosper? "Master, this..." Bai Yunzong frowned slightly as he watched from the side. "It's fine. The Broken Blade sect has no time to bother with such trivial matters." Bai Yunzong flicked his mustache, and the true spirit of the spear dissipated. Before he left, he stood still, faced the crowd, and announced, "This time, core disciple Long Yu has done a meritorious deed in protecting Elder Yu. He will be rewarded with 3 days of cultivation in the valley and a top-grade spirit condensing pill." After finishing his sentence, Bai Yunzong stepped into the heavenly suppression hall and disappeared from everyone's sight. Almost everyone cast envious glances toward Long Yu. Not only was he rewarded with 3 days of cultivation in the valley, he was also rewarded with a top-grade spirit condensing pill. The spirit condensing pill was the dream pill of every martial cultivator. After consuming the spirit condensing pill, A martial cultivator would have a 10% chance of successfully condensing their true spirit when breaking through to the true spirit realm. Some martial cultivators with insufficient talent might be able to condense their true spirit and step into the true spirit realm with a spirit condensing pill. Young lad, are you satisfied now? Yu Shuiyun asked while looking at Long Yu with a calm smile. Not bad. Long Yu nodded his head with a smile as he was satisfied with the reward. With the spirit condensing pill, he would be able to condense his true spirit earlier, and the earlier he could step into the true spirit realm, the better. In less than half a year's time, the martial competition of the 7 sects would determine the survival of the Jintian clan. Long Yu vaguely knew the agreement between Bai Yunzong, the sect leader of the Thousand Thread sect, and that person. If the Thousand Thread sect defeated the Jintian clan in a martial competition of the 7 sects, Bai Yunzong would have the hand over the heaven suppression art. Vice versa. In that case, the sect leader of the Thousand Thread sect and that person must have the confidence to win. Where did the Thousand Thread sect get their confidence from? Why do they think that they can defeat the Jintian clan? Long Yu could not figure it out, no matter how he thought about it. But no matter what, in less than half a year's time, Long Yu, had to improve his cultivation as soon as possible. Whether it was to find his father Long Zaiqian, meet his mother Bei Yu Yao, solve the mystery of the 9 underworld dragon seal, or meet the mysterious woman consort Yu, strength was the most important thing. Long Yu could not afford to slack off for even a second. Junior brother Long Yu, congratulations. Very quickly, Bufong took out a spirit-condensing pill and walked up to Long Yu, smiling as he handed over the small porcelain bottle. Thank you, senior brother Bu. Long Yu nodded and took the spirit-condensing pill. Suddenly, he felt that someone was looking at him from afar. He frowned and looked in the direction of the person's gaze. At the edge of the heaven suppression hall, there were 2 young men standing leisurely, staring at Long Yu and discussing something. One of them wore a white robe and had a cold expression. Wasn't Yang Tiansua, who was ranked 13th among the core disciples. The young man beside Yang Tiansua had a straight posture and a calm expression. When he looked at Long Yu, his eyes were filled with disdain and contempt. He's Duanmu Songlong, who is ranked 4th among the core disciples. He's at the peak of the first layer of the true spirit realm. Bufu narrowed his eyes and explained to Long Yu. 4th Duanmu Songlong. Long Yu nodded and understood the other party's identity. He recalled that Yang Tiansua seemed to have warned him not to go to the Ling family mountain village to fight for the treasure. He even said that his life would be in danger if he went. Now it seemed that Yang Tiansua was relying on Duanmu Songlong, who was ranked 4th among the core disciples. Peak of the first level of the true spirit secret realm. Such a cultivation realm did give him the right to be arrogant. However, with Ling Han's connections, he should not have been able to get close to Duanmu Songlong. Could it be that Ling Han invited Yang Tiansua, and Yang Tiansua invited Duanmu Songlong privately? Long Yu could not guess it now. However, he would be heading to the Ling family mountain village in a few days. By then, everything would be clear. With the spirit condensing pill in hand, he bid farewell to Yu Shuiyun, Bu Fu, Old Bai, and Liao Lele, and headed towards the Sect Valley. Next, he would cultivate in the Sect Valley for 3 days and try to make another breakthrough. Once he came out of the Sect Valley, it would be time to head to the Ling family mountain village. As he left, Yang Tiansua and Duanmu Songlong finally retracted their gazes. Senior brother Duanmu, there was a rumor that Long Yu killed 2 enforcement elders of the true spirit secret realm by himself. Yang Tiansua stood respectfully beside Duanmu Songlong, his eyes flashing with suspicion. Don't think too much, Duanmu Songlong said lightly, his eyes filled with disdain. How can someone at the 9th level of the martial path kill someone at the true spirit secret realm? Even if it's true, it's only because Yu Shuiyun was there to help. That's true. However, senior brother Duanmu, if he also goes to the Ling family mountain village and covets the treasure that is about to appear, should we? Yang Tiansua rolled his eyes. We'll talk about it when the time comes. As disciples of the Jintian clan, we should work together against outsiders. Duanmu, Song Long squinted, his eyes filled with battle intent. I heard that a treasure is about to appear in the Ling family mountain village. Even the Hidden Fire Palace and Qingqing Pavilion have received the news and sent many experts over. Our opponents will be the experts from the Hidden Fire Palace and Qingqing Pavilion. Senior brother Duanmu is really far-sighted. Yang Tianzhua, am ashamed, haha. Yang Tianzhua laughed and complimented. If you also condense a true spirit, your vision will naturally be different from others. For example, that Long Yu. Duanmu, Song Long enjoyed the compliment and smiled faintly. That kid has no one to rely on and wants to go to the Ling family mountain village for the treasure. Even if I don't do anything, someone will come for his life. In the end, he won't have a chance to condense a true spirit. In other words, Yang Tianzhua could only rely on Duanmu Song Long to keep his life and possibly obtain some benefits. Yang Tianzhua did not refute this because he felt that Duanmu Song Long was right. It was rumored that the treasure that was about to appear in the Ling family mountain village was extremely attractive to experts in the true spirit realm. If the experts from the Hidden Fire Palace and Qingqiang Pavilion went there, they would definitely be existences who had condensed a true spirit. It was wishful thinking for someone in the 9th level of the martial path to obtain the treasure. After Long Yu left, Yu Shuiyun also left the Sky Suppression Great Hall with her disciple, Lu Guanming. Although she had consumed the antidote, Yu Shuiyun still needed to rest for a while to fully recover. Old Bai also brought Liao Lele back to the Sky Suppression Canyon. Although Liao Lele was a little unhappy with Long Yu's leaving, she knew that Long Yu's priority was to cultivate and did not have the time to stay and chat with her. Walking watched Long Yu leave and smiled faintly before turning to leave as well. Long Yu needed time to cultivate. Wasn't it the same for him to walk? In terms of effort behind the scenes, walking was definitely not any less than anyone else. In the Jintian clan, the shock of the sect ended just like that. However, after Elder Wu Jinxin's cultivation was crippled and he was expelled from the Jintian clan, the entire Jintian clan changed. Long Yu once again came to the Sect Valley. The current Sect Valley would naturally not be occupied by people like Ian. I'll cultivate in the Sect Valley for 3 days and see if I can upgrade the Sky Suppression Grand Power to a domain. If I succeed, then I'll definitely be able to defeat experts in the 1st level of the True Spirit Realm. Chapter 94. When Long Yu stepped into the Clan Valley to cultivate for 3 days, far away in the Great Tang Imperial City, the most prosperous place in the entire martial cultivation country, there was a luxurious pavilion. This luxurious pavilion was called the Golden Pavilion. It belonged to the Liu family of the Imperial City. It was called the Golden Pavilion, and it was obvious that this pavilion usually served the rich and powerful. Ordinary martial cultivators of the Great Tang Imperial City did not have the right to enter. At this moment, in the most precious room of the Golden Pavilion, the Purple Gold Pavilion, a young man dressed in luxurious golden silk clothes was sitting on a luxurious seat with his legs crossed, allowing 2 beautiful women to gently massage his shoulders. This young man was Wang Tianzhua, whom Long Yu had dealt with before. Wang Tianzhua came from the Wang family, one of the 4 great families of the Great Tang Empire. Of course, he had the right to sit in the Purple Gold Pavilion and enjoy the best service. At this time, hurried footsteps could be heard from outside the Purple Gold Pavilion, followed by a voice. "Master Wang, can I come in? There's news of that brat named Long Yu." From the voice, this person was Lu Mingsheng, the son of the Liu family of the Imperial City. Although this was something that Wang Tianzhua was very concerned about, Lu Mingsheng still reported it before entering the Purple Gold Pavilion. After all, he knew that Wang Tianzhua and the 2 beautiful maids were in the Purple Gold Pavilion. Who knew if they were doing something more important? "Come in." Wang Tianzhua quivered and jumped up from his seat, his eyes flashing with joy. This useless Long Yu was only at the 8th rank of the martial path, but he was able to injure him, who had condensed his true spirit. This was unforgivable. After returning, Wang Tianjua had been thinking of killing Long Yu to wash away the humiliation, so he asked Lu Mingxing to go to the Jintian clan to find out more. Now that the results were out, how could Wang Tianjua not be excited? Master Wang, the servants of the Lu family went to the Jintian clan a few days ago, and they finally brought back news of that brat. Lu Mingcheng pushed the door open and saw the two beautiful maids standing by the side. He waved his hand impatiently. "Leave first. I have something to discuss with Master Wang." "Still not going to scram?" Wang Tianjua couldn't wait to find out about Long Yu, so he cursed along with him. "This servant will take her leave." The two beautiful maids hurriedly lowered their heads and hurriedly left the purple gold pavilion. When only Wang Tianjua and Lu Mingcheng were left in a room, Lu Mingxing finally came to Wang Tianjua's side and said, "Young Master Wang, I found out that Long Yu actually grew up in the Ling family villa." "Ling family villa?" Wang Tianjua's eyes flashed fiercely. Of course, he had heard of the Ling family villa, but that was only a family that managed a small mine in the Great Tang Empire. In the entire Ling family villa, there was not a single expert who had condensed a true spirit. Who would have thought that Long Yu actually grew up in the Ling family villa? Recently, however, there was news of the Ling family villa's treasure appearing in the world, causing many people to be envious. Previously, in Jade Pass City, that Long Yu should have followed Ling Lai from the Ling family villa to celebrate with Feng Yun. However, there was a conflict, and in the end, Ling Lai was crippled and Feng Yun was defeated. Lu Mingqing continued. This wasn't Lu Mingqing's own guess, but it was the information that the Lu family servants had secretly found out when they went to the Jintian clan. It could be seen that White Cloud tracking was meticulous in his actions. He had long expected that someone would come to investigate Long Yu's identity, and thus he had already spread the news that Long Yu grew up in the Ling family villa. When the Lu family servants went to investigate, they immediately obtained this fake news, preventing Long Yu's identity from being exposed too early. Although this lie couldn't be maintained for long, the longer it could be concealed, the safer Long Yu would be. Otherwise, once his identity was exposed, there would be a lot of trouble. In reality, if Lu Mingcheng was smarter and sent people to Jade Pass City to investigate, it would be very easy to find out that Long Yu wasn't from the Ling family villa. However, it was a pity that Wang Tianjua had been suppressed on foot and the Tiger King's true spirit had been defeated. He had fled Jade Pass City pathetically, and even Lu Mingcheng didn't dare to send people to Jade Pass City to investigate. "Are you sure that this news is true?" Wang Tianjua frowned slightly. "My Lu family's 3 servants separately went to the Jintian clan to investigate, and the conclusion they obtained was the same. It shouldn't be wrong." Lu Mingxing answered. "Then why would Feng Yao's father protect that trash, Long Yu, so much at Jade Pass City?" Wang Tianjua felt that something was wrong. If Long Yu grew up in the Ling family villa, then he shouldn't have any relationship with Feng Chang'e in the past. Why would Feng Chang'e risk his life to protect Long Yu? I don't know. Maybe something happened to the Feng family during the meeting. Lu Mingcheng also didn't understand. However, the current him could only believe the results of the servant's investigation. Let's not talk about this first. No matter what, we have to make a trip to the Ling family villa." Wang Tianjua snorted lightly. He naturally had his own thoughts about the rumored treasure. "Young Master Wang is wise." Lu Mingcheng flattered. "If we see that Long Yu, we can just kill him. As for whether he is really from the Ling family villa, we will know once we go and ask." "That's right. However, the most important thing for this trip is that treasure. As for that trash, Long Yu, we will have time to deal with him." Wang Tianjua's eyes flashed fiercely. "Young Master Wang, no matter what treasure it is, it will naturally belong to young Master Wang. No one else should even think about fighting for it." Lu Mingcheng immediately said in a flattering tone. "That's right," Wang Tianjua said proudly. Then he suddenly thought of something and instructed, "All right, send someone to the ice sect to inform junior sister Feng Yao. Ask her to come along to the Ling family villa. If I get that treasure, I will gift it to junior sister Feng Yao." "Young Master Wang, I will do it now," Lu Mingcheng said respectfully. "Please enjoy yourself here for a while. Once I have arranged for my men, We will set off for the Ling family villa together. It's okay. I will return to the Wang family first. Wang Tianjua shook his head. That treasure is said to be extremely attractive to people in the true spirit secret realm. To prevent any accidents, I will go back and ask housekeeper Gu if he has the time to go with me. Lu Mingqing's eyes flashed with surprise when he heard this. Housekeeper Gu. Everyone knew that the housekeeper of the Wang family, Gu Hebo, was an expert who had condensed his true spirit into a physical body. If housekeeper Gu were to take action, there would naturally be no problem. However, housekeeper Gu is usually busy with the business of the Wang family. I'm afraid he will not have the time to accompany young Master Wang. Lu Mingqiang said carefully as he observed Wang Tianjua's expression. Although Wang Tianjua was from the Wang family, he was not a direct descendant of the Wang family. He was just a talented collateral descendant who had been praised by housekeeper Gu Hebo once. Just based on this relationship, it did not seem possible for Wang Tianjua to invite Gu Hebo along. One had to know that Gu Hebo was a sect master in the Great Tang Empire. How could he ignore the affairs of the Wang family and protect a mere Wang Tianjua? If it was a direct descendant of the Wang family, it would make sense. Of course, the talented direct descendant of the Wang family did not seem to need Gu Hebo's protection. Hearing Lu Mingqing's words, Wang Tianjua's face darkened. Even if housekeeper Gu does not go personally, as long as he can arrange 2 true spirit guards for me, it will be enough. Of course. Young Master Wang, I will go inform the ice sect first. Please. Lu Mingqing hurriedly put on a flattering smile. Wang Tianjua then calmed himself down and left the purple gold pavilion, heading in the direction of the Wang family. He was determined to get the treasure of the Ling family mountain villa. At this time, Longyu did not know that Wang Tianjua had his eyes on him again and was going to the Ling family mountain villa to ask for him. In the Jintian clan, in the valley, Longyu felt the dense heaven suppressing nomological laws descending from the sky. He continuously absorbed and felt, allowing his understanding of the heaven-suppressing power to improve again and again. In these 3 days, his understanding of the heaven-suppressing power had improved greatly. Now that I have displayed the heaven-suppressing power, its power is 20% stronger than before, and I am not far from comprehending the heaven-suppressing domain. All I need is an opportunity, Longyu thought to himself. This opportunity to advance was extremely rare, and it was not something he could advance just because he wanted to. He only knew that it was almost impossible to comprehend a domain by just sitting and cultivating. He had to go out and walk, fight, or see some unique scenery to have a sudden epiphany. Or watching some experts fight would also be helpful for him to comprehend the heaven-suppressing domain. However, in the entire Jintian clan, the only one who could comprehend the heaven-suppressing domain was probably tracked White Cloud. In fact, Longyu wasn't even sure if Bai Yunzong had comprehended the heaven-suppressing territory. After all, Bai Yunzong had joined the heaven-suppressing sect as the sect leader halfway through. He was originally a general of the Great Tang Empire. Naturally, the mental cultivation technique he cultivated was different from the heaven-suppressing art. No matter what, 3 days have passed. It is time to head to the Ling family manor. Longyu stood up and left the valley where he had cultivated for 3 days. Then, he went to the stables of the sect to choose a fierce horse and headed in the direction of the Ling family manor. At the same time, in the Jintian clan, Yang Tiansua and Duanmu, Songlong also rode on fierce horses and galloped in the direction of the Ling family manor. In the Great Tang Imperial City, Wang Tianjua brought 2 guard from the True Spirit Secret Realm and Lu Mingqing as a follower to the Ling family manor. In the Ice Sect, Feng Yao received a messenger pigeon. It was Wang Tianjua threatening her to head to the Ling family manor, saying that he would obtain a great treasure for her. If she did not go, Wang Tianjua would head to the Jade Gate City again to cause trouble for Feng Chang'e. This Wang Tianjua, he said that he would not harm my father, and now he dares to threaten me again. How shameless! Feng Yao's face darkened, but faced with such a situation, She had to go. Feng Yao also set off on the road to the Ling family manor alone. After Feng Yao, another person from the ice sect set off for the Ling family manor. This person was neither a man nor a woman. He was skinny and had a flirtatious face. Hua Buxi, ranked third among the core disciples of the ice sect and an expert at the second level of the true spirit secret realm, was also heading to the Ling family manor. Long Yu, you killed my brother and sister. It's time to take revenge. Hua Buxi's flirtatious face revealed a bloodthirsty expression. Other than that, the hidden fire hall, the Qingchang Pavilion, and the other two sects of the Great Tang Empire also received news of the great treasure. Many of their core disciples set off. Chapter 95. On the main road leading to the Ling family villa, two beautiful women rode their horses towards the Ling family villa. The girl in front was about 20 years old. She was wearing a black outfit that clung tightly to the seductive curves of her figure, outlining an intoxicating beauty. Almost any man would go crazy for her. Looking up, he saw that this young girl was extremely beautiful. Her snow-white and flawless face was flawless. Her fine black hair hung down to her waist like a willow, and her pair of beautiful eyes were as lively as the stars. Her temperament was noble, and her posture was cool and elegant. On her waist hung two scarlet short swords in a crisscross pattern. White light flashed on the blades. Obviously, this was not an ordinary battle weapon. Lu Yuan was a core disciple of the Qingchang Pavilion, one of the 7 major sects of the Tang Empire. She was extremely talented and had already stepped into the second level of the true spirit secret realm at the age of 20. She was the hope of the Lu family in the Imperial City and the brightest star of this generation. Even in a place like the Imperial City, where geniuses were everywhere, she was one of the most famous young experts. As for the woman behind her, although she was also beautiful, she paled in comparison to the black-clothed woman in front of her. Senior Sister Lu, do you think we'll meet Mo Fengming when we go to the Ling family villa? The girl in the back seemed to be fantasizing about something as she asked Lu Yuan. A faint blush appeared on her cheeks. This girl was called Xianyuya. She was at the first level of the true spirit secret realm. She was also very strong and was Lu Yuan's junior sister. Don't think about Mo Fengming all the time. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. He is very busy. How would he have the time to come to the Ling family villa? The Gumeng kingdom in the north has invaded the Tang Empire again. 9 young experts like him would have been sent by the royal family to kill the enemy. In that case, no one will be able to compete with senior sister for the Ling family manor's lunar fragment this time. Xianyuya's eyes lit up. Among the young generation, apart from the 9 young experts of the Tang Empire, you can be said to be the strongest. That's hard to say. Lu Yuan shook her head. There are many talented people in this world. Even I am nothing in the entire heavenly mandate continent. Don't be arrogant. Yes, yes. Xianya pouted and said impatiently. Suddenly, she thought of something and rolled her eyes. All right, senior sister, I heard that you have a cousin in the ice sect. Her name is Feng Yao. Lu Yuan's beautiful eyes sparkled. I heard that Feng Yao has been slandering you in the ice sect. Xianya said angrily. I used to know a disciple of the Frost sect. I asked him if he knew senior sister Lu Yuan. His face was full of astonishment, and he actually said, that arrogant and domineering talented girl of the Lu family? I'm so angry. Domineering and tyrannical. These 2 words could not be associated with the current Lu Yuan. It was obvious that someone had maliciously slandered Lu Yuan in the ice gate. Hearing that, Lu Yuan smiled slightly. That was when I was young. I did bully Feng Yao, but later I apologized to her several times. It's a pity that this girl doesn't appreciate it. Senior sister, she slandered you like that, yet you're apologizing to her? You're such a good person. Xianyuya didn't understand. After all, I was the one who bullied her when we were young. It's not a big deal to apologize. Lu Yuan smiled indifferently. But this girl has always set me as her goal. She wants to surpass me. Surpass me? In your dreams. Xianyuya giggled. All right, Senior sister, why didn't you go when Major General Long invited you to admire the flowers? It's obvious that he wants to pursue you. I'm not the only one he invited. Lu Yuan frowned, seeming to dislike this Major General Long. I don't like him. Oh. Xinuya stuck out her tongue. She thought, Senior sister Lu Yuan is really different. She's extraordinary. Major General Long was the legitimate son of the Long family of the generals of Tang. If she could win his favor, she would have a meteoric rise in the future. Even the entire Lu family would rise. There were definitely tens of thousands of girls in the imperial city who wanted to hook up with Major General Long. I didn't expect that senior sister Lu Yuan would look down on Major General Long and say that she doesn't like him. I wonder what kind of man would be able to enter senior sister Lu Yuan's eyes. Xinuya pondered as she followed Lu Yuan on her horse. The mineral vein of the Ling family mountain villa soon appeared in front of them. It was an endless mountain range. However, this mountain range was filled with a gloomy aura. Not even trees could grow in it. The entire mountain range was covered with grayish-white rocks. There wasn't even a speck of green to be seen. The Ling family mountain villa was located in the center of this ring-shaped mountain range. It managed the entire mountain range for the Tang imperial family and produced all kinds of attribute ores. These ores and metals could be used to forge combat weapons. Most importantly, they were used by the imperial family to forge combat spears and distributed to the soldiers of the martial cultivation army. The Ling family mountain villa was such a remote place. It was filled with Qi. Long Yu rode his horse alone and finally arrived at the Ling family manor on the third day after he set off. After entering the ring-shaped mountain range, Long Yu could clearly feel a wave of Qi assaulting him. If an ordinary person were to live in such a place for a long time, their lifespan would be reduced by a lot. Luckily, the 9 underworld's Qi can counteract this Qi and prevent it from affecting my body, Long Yu thought as he advanced. At the foot of the mountain, a series of buildings appeared in front of him. This was the Ling family mountain villa. Although it was called a mountain villa, it was actually the size of a city. The miners of the Tang Empire all lived in this mountain villa and were under the jurisdiction of the Ling family. It's even bigger than Jade Gate City. Long Yu rode into the building. With a casual glance, he saw many miners loading attribute ores and metals onto carriages. Carriage after carriage of ores was sent out of the mountain villa and escorted to the imperial city. These miners had all been corroded by the Qi. Although it didn't affect them normally, it could definitely shorten their lifespan by 10 or even 20 years. I didn't expect there to be such a place in the Tang Empire. Long Yu frowned as he rode towards the center of the building. In a letter that Ling Han had sent him, he said that he would wait for him at the Ling family mansion and that he should head there directly. Along the way, Long Yu saw many martial cultivators of the Tang Empire patrolling and supervising the Ling family mountain villa. These martial cultivators not only supervised the miners but also the actions of the Ling family. This was the power of the Tang Empire's royal family. In the Tang Empire, the royal family had always been the ruler. I wonder how Ling Han is doing. Long Yu quickly rode his horse to the Ling family mansion in the center of the mountain villa and dismounted. He looked up and saw that the Ling family mansion was bigger than the Feng family mansion in Jade Gate City. The walls of the entire building were very thick, probably to prevent the Qi from entering. At the entrance of the Ling clan residence, there were 2 martial cultivators chatting idly. When they saw Long Yu dismounting his horse, they looked over at him. 9th rank of the martial path. When the 2 of them saw Long Yu's cultivation, their originally relaxed expressions immediately changed, and they quickly rushed forward to greet him. Young master, are you looking for someone in the Ling family mansion? One of them asked nervously. The 2 of them were the gatekeepers of the Ling family mansion and were at the 4th and 5th rank of the martial path. How could they not be nervous when they saw a 9th rank martial path expert? Is Ling Han here? Long Yu asked casually. Ling Han? The 2 of them looked at each other and saw a trace of surprise in each other's eyes. Yes. Young master, please come in. I will bring you to Ling Han. One of them said cautiously and then made an inviting gesture. Long Yu nodded and followed him into the Ling family mansion. How is Ling Han doing in the Ling family? Long Yu thought for a moment, then intentionally asked this question. This was because he could see that when he said the name Ling Han, the expressions of the two gatekeeping martial cultivators seemed to be a bit strange. Oh, he's the son of the previous patriarch of the Ling family. However, the previous patriarch passed away more than 10 years ago. The man led the way and asked cautiously, "Young master, your relationship with Ling Han." Obviously, he didn't know Long Yu's identity and didn't dare to speak carelessly. "I am a good friend of Ling Han," Long Yu said. "I see." The man heaved a sigh of relief, and his tone became more natural. Young Master Ling Han hasn't had a good time in the Ling family these years. After the death of the previous patriarch, the new patriarch deliberately suppressed him and his sister. He had no choice but to leave the Ling family mansion and bring his sister to join the Jintian clan. Sister? Long Yu heard this and felt strange. He didn't know that Ling Han had a sister. Not long ago, young Master Ling Han returned to the Ling family mansion. However, he can only stay with his sister in the side courtyard. "I will bring you to him now," the man said. "It is strange that you are the third person to come to find young Master Ling Han today." The third? Long Yu didn't say anything. He was thinking, could it be Yang Tiansua and Duanmu Songlong? Very quickly, Long Yu followed the man to a secluded side courtyard of the Ling family mansion. This side courtyard was located in the corner of the Ling family mansion. Logically, it should be a place for servants to stay. However, Ling Han could only stay in this secluded side courtyard with his sister. Long Yu looked at the environment of this side courtyard and knew that Ling Han wasn't living well in the Ling family mansion. Even so, Ling Han still insisted on cultivating the noble Tai Bai Qi in an attempt to disperse the Yin Qi in the Ling family mansion. It was clear that he still valued the Ling family mansion. "Young master, please come in. Young Master Ling Han is inside. This little one will take his leave first." The man came to the door of the side courtyard and left after finishing his sentence. Long Yu stepped in the side courtyard and looked towards a hall in the side courtyard. Sure enough, there were already many people seated in the hall. Although the environment was simple and crude, everyone seemed to be in harmony. Ling Han, Lu Guanming. Long Yu saw two familiar faces, a young man and a young girl. However, Yang Tiansua and Duanmu Songlong were not there. Chapter 96. Long Yu didn't expect Lu Guanming to come as well. He stepped into the hall, and before he could even speak, Ling Han had already walked up to him with an enthusiastic expression. "Brother Long, you've finally come. I heard about what happened at the Jintian clan a few days ago. I didn't expect you to be in the 9th rank of the martial path and even be able to fight against experts of the true spirit realm." Long Yu looked at Lu Guanming. Ling Han had been back at the Ling family villa for a long time. Lu Guanming must have told him about this. "Senior brother Ling Han, you know senior brother Lu?" Long Yu asked. Senior brother Lu is a straightforward and righteous person. We've known each other for a long time," Ling Han said with a smile. Then, he seemed to have thought of something and frowned. "It's just that Yang Tiansua doesn't know what's good for him. He actually said that he wanted to follow Duanmu Songlong to the location of the treasure and disdained to follow us." Lu Guanming's face flashed with anger. Obviously, he was very unhappy that Yang Tiansua and Duanmu Songlong didn't come. Wasn't it just hooking up with Duanmu Songlong? What right did he have to look down on him and Ling Han? "All right, senior brother Lu, don't be angry. We have brother Long with us. That's enough." Ling Han laughed and patted Lu Guanming's shoulder. "That's right." Lu Guanming also laughed heartily and looked at Long Yu with reverence in his eyes. Ever since Long Yu brought his master, Yu Shuiyun, back to the Jintian clan a few days ago and killed Wu Jinxin and Wu Li, who wanted to harm his master, he respected Long Yu a lot. It was already rare to step into the 9th rank of the martial path at the age of 18, not to mention Long Yu's 9th rank, and not just any 9th rank. Even an expert of the 1st rank of the true spirit realm was nothing in front of Long Yu. By the way, Brother Long, let me introduce you. Ling Han smiled and pointed at the girl beside him. This is my younger sister, Ling Yue. She's also a disciple of the Jintian clan, but she's only an outer disciple. She just reached the 6th stage of the martial path. Ling Yue. Long Yu nodded his head and glanced at the young girl. The girl's figure was petite, her eyes shone with a bright light, and her facial features were exquisite. She should be less than 16 years old. He never thought that Ling Han would have such a beautiful and cute sister. Furthermore, she had already reached the 6th level of the martial Dao at such a young age. This talent was not inferior to Feng Yao at all. You're Long Yu. My brother has mentioned you to me. Senior brother Lu even praised you to the point of being a god. Ling Yue looked at Long Yu curiously. That's because they're exaggerating. I'm just an ordinary martial cultivator. I'm just lucky. Long Yu smiled casually. Sometimes, luck is also a kind of strength. However, if you only rely on luck, you won't be able to go far on the path of martial Dao. In the hall, another young man said indifferently, Since everyone is here, can we set off? Hee, this is the core disciple of the Jintian clan, Yao Yin, ranked 5th. Senior brother, Yao has condensed his true spirit and will be a great help to us on this trip. Ling Han quickly introduced him to Long Yu. Yao Yin? Long Yu looked at the young man and saw that Yao Yin had hooked eyebrows and a high-nose bridge. His looks were not bad, but the expression on his face gave him an unapproachable feeling. Such arrogance. If it wasn't for junior sister Yue, Yao Yin, wouldn't have come to this remote place and wouldn't associate with people like you. Yao Yin's gaze was focused on Ling Yu most of the time. Even when it came to Long Yu and Ling Han, it was as if they were beneath his notice. Long Yu didn't have a good impression of Yao Yin. Even a number 1 core disciple wasn't this arrogant. Yao Yin was only ranked 5th among the core disciples and had just condensed his true spirit. Yet he was so arrogant. It's fine if you don't want to come. I didn't beg you to come. Ling Yue snorted when she heard this. She was extremely cute and mischievous. Junior sister Yue, don't misunderstand. No matter what, Yao Yin, will be by your side to protect your safety. Yao Yin immediately said with a smile. He seemed to be very interested in Ling Yue. Long Yu frowned when he saw this. Yao Yin didn't look like a good person at first glance. As for Ling Han's sister, Ling Yue, Long Yu really didn't want to see her fall into a pit of fire. However, this Ling Yue was obviously not that kind of innocent girl. After all, Ling Yue and Ling Han had gone through difficult times in the Ling family villa. She would never trust others so easily. It was very likely that Ling Yue was just using Yao Yin. However, Yao Yin was an expert in the true spirit realm. If he wanted to do something to Ling Yue wouldn't be able to resist. These were all the thoughts that flashed through Long Yu's mind. In reality, he didn't really care about Yao Yin. Instead, he turned to Ling Han and asked, "Oh right, senior brother Ling Han, I still don't know about the treasure of the Ling family villa. What's going on?" The Ling family has jurisdiction over the Yin vein. Basically, a lunar fragment will appear every few years. This lunar fragment is the treasure I'm talking about. Ling Han's expression turned solemn as he explained. 5 years ago, the lunar fragment appeared and was obtained by Mo Fengming from the Mo family of the Xiang clan of the Tang dynasty. Since then, he has risen to become one of the 9 great young experts of the Tang dynasty and is ranked 3rd. Even senior brother Bu himself said that he probably wouldn't be able to withstand a single move from Mo Fengming. Lunar fragment. Long Yu frowned. Is there anything special about this lunar fragment? Ling Han shook his head. I don't know. I've never seen this lunar fragment before. 5 years ago, I didn't even have the right to join the Jintian clan. However, it said that the lunar fragment is a fragment of a stone tablet and contains the power of the lunar fragment. The power of the lunar fragment. Long Yu nodded. From the aura of the entire Yin vein, it was normal for it to produce some Yin attribute treasures. While he was still deep in thought, Yao Yin stood up and glanced at him disdainfully. Long Yu, we've been waiting for you for a few hours. Since you're here, What's the point of saying so much nonsense? If you want to leave, you can leave first. Ling Yue said lightly. No one asked you to stay. This, junior sister Yu. I'm trying to save everyone's time. Yao Yin immediately put on a smile. Then stay here quietly. Ling Yue snorted, then looked at Ling Han. Brother, are we leaving now? Since Brother Long is here, there's no need to stay here. Ling Han nodded as he smiled apologetically at Long Yu. Yao Yin was so arrogant and seemed to have something against Long Yu, which was something Ling Han did not expect. At this moment, he could only hope that the two of them would not have any conflict. Of course, Long Yu would not make things difficult for Ling Han. He looked at Ling Yue and felt that this girl was quite interesting. She was cute, mature, and smart. Coupled with her talent for cultivation, her future achievements would not be low. Then let's go. Long Yu stood up and said. Long Yu, Ling Han, Ling Yue, Lu Guanming, and Yao Yin, a total of 5 people, prepare to leave together. However, just as the 5 of them walked out of the hall and arrived at the entrance of the secluded side courtyard, they were met with a large group of people who surrounded the entire side courtyard. What's going on? Lu Guanming looked up and saw a group of strangers, a little confused. On the other hand, Long Yu saw a familiar person in the crowd. Ling Lai. Back in Jade Pass City, Ling Lai wanted to cripple him and take his life even though he had no grudge against him. In the end, he was the one who crippled his arm. After Feng Yin was killed, Ling Lai naturally escaped back to the Ling family's villa. At this moment, when Long Yu arrived at the Ling family's villa, Ling Lai received the news immediately. He immediately informed the Ling family to rush over and surround Long Yu. Ling Lai's arm was hanging by his side. Obviously, the Ling family's villa did not have medicine like Elder Bai that could heal his arm so quickly. His face was filled with hatred as he stared at Long Yu. However, there was also fear in his eyes. Clearly, Long Yu's actions that day had left a shadow in his heart. In front of Ling Lai, a tall middle-aged man led many Ling family martial cultivators and surrounded the entire courtyard. This middle-aged man looked exactly like Ling Lai. Obviously, he was Ling Lai's father, Ling Tianba, family head. Ling Han said coldly, Ling Han, did not offend you this time. Why have you surrounded us like this? That middle-aged man was Ling Lai's father, Ling Tianba. He was actually the current family head of the Ling family. This person was at the 9th level of the martial path and had the highest cultivation in the entire Ling family. Ling Tianba's eyes flashed fiercely. You did not offend me, but that brat beside you crippled one of your cousin's arms. Tell me, is he an enemy of the Ling family? Ha! Ling Han laughed loudly. In Jade Pass City, Ling Lai sought his own humiliation, and everyone knows that. It's the father's fault for not teaching his son properly. As a father, you didn't teach your son properly and actually helped him cause trouble? Bastard. These words made Ling Tianba extremely angry. His eyes widened like copper bells. As a member of the Ling family, you actually speak up for an outsider. Do you want to be kicked out of the Ling family? How would I dare? I'm just stating the truth. Ling Han sneered. As for kicking me out of the Ling family, I'm afraid you, Ling Tianba, don't have the qualifications to do so. Cut the crap. I'm not here to quarrel with you. Hand over Long Yu, and I'll let you leave. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving. Ling Tianba's aura was extraordinary as he stared domineeringly at Long Yu. A mere 9th level of the martial path dares to say such big words? What a joke. Yao Yin from the True Spirit Secret Realm said disdainfully, if you want to deal with that brat Long Yu, do as you please. However, if you dare to stop us, I'll make sure your head falls to the ground. These words were clearly expressing his position. He, Yao Yin, would not help Long Yu, but Ling Tianba should not stop him and waste his time. All right, the 4 of you can leave. Ling Tianba looked at Yao Yin and saw the powerful aura of the True Spirit Secret Realm. This caused his heart to tremble. He immediately waved his hand, and the people behind him opened up a path. Yao Yan's face showed a hint of pride, as if to say, look, this is the benefit of being strong. As for Long Yu, although there were rumors everywhere that he could kill true spirit realm cultivators. Who knew if it was true or false? Now, a person at the 9th level of the martial Tao could bring people to stop Long Yu. How can a mere Long Yu compare to me? Yao Yin. Chapter 97. Yao Yin proudly walked toward the path that the other party had opened up for him. However, he soon realized that no one was following behind him. Whether it was Ling Han, Lu Guanming, or even Ling Yue, they were all standing at the same spot as Long Yu. Why aren't you following me? Yao Yin frowned and said lightly, if Brother Long isn't leaving, then we won't leave. If you want to leave, then leave by yourself. Lu Guanming's face was filled with stubbornness as he followed Ling Han and called Yao Yin Brother Long. This made Long Yu a little puzzled, but let him be. It was just a name. There was no need to mind it. He turned his head and looked at Ling Tianba with interest. Are you sure you want to stop me? Are you an idiot? Ling Tianba looked at Long Yu as if he was looking at an idiot. Although you're quite strong, you're only at the 9th rank of the martial path. Do you think my Ling family can't stop you? Then go ahead and try. Long Yu chuckled and stood with his hands behind his back. He didn't even take out the spear on his back. This action made Ling Yue's eyes light up. This Long Yu seemed to be very confident in himself. Yao Yin coldly snorted, but he did not retreat. Instead, he leaped onto the side wall of the courtyard and prepared to observe the situation. He wanted to see how Ling Han and the others could leave this place without him. Rumor has it that you, Long Yu, can kill experts in the true spirit realm. Show us your strength now, Yao Yin said disdainfully with a smile. Old Lu, have already seen Brother Long kill true spirit realm experts. Lu Guanming retorted sarcastically, and his face revealed a hint of disdain towards Yao Yin. This black-faced man was straightforward. Although he was straightforward, he could easily offend others. At this moment, Yao Yan's eyes flashed with ferocity. It was obvious that he bore a grudge against Lu Guanming. Lu Guanming had enough confidence in Long Yu, so Ling Han and Ling Yue naturally would not step forward. However, they were a little expectant and wanted to see Long Yu's current strength. If Long Yu was in danger, they would definitely lend a hand. Back in the royal family's ancient forest, Brother Long was only at the 6th rank of the martial path, but he was able to defeat a 7th rank expert. After stepping into the 7th stage of the martial Tao, he fought 1 against 3 and killed Hua Qing, Hua Yun, and Tan Jian. Ling Han stood at the back, his eyes flashing with anticipation. Now that Brother Long has stepped into the 9th stage of the martial path, this speed is a little too fast. Can he really defeat someone from the true spirit realm at the 9th rank of the martial path? This made Ling Han even more curious about Long Yu. Ling Tianba snorted coldly. Since Long Yu wanted to have a taste of his power, of course he would not be stingy. Attack him, Ling Tianba ordered. Instantly, the Ling family disciples who had reached the 7th rank of the martial path all displayed their Xianxi martial skills towards Long Yu. This Ling Tianba actually wanted to win with numbers. Shameless! How dare you surround him? Ling Yue exclaimed. However, faced with the onslaught of Xianxi, Long Yu was calm and composed. Demon subduing Vajra shield. A faint golden glow appeared on the surface of Long Yu's body as he stood in place, unmoving. Following that, countless Xianxi smashed onto his body, causing a burst of golden light to scatter. However, it did not even make him take half a step back, let alone injure him. Seeing this, Ling Yue finally relaxed. It seemed that the attacks of the 7th rank of the martial path were completely like tickles to Long Yu. Soul setting bracelet. Suddenly, a 5-color bracelet flew out from a corner that no one was paying attention to. In an instant, it expanded and wrapped around Long Yu's entire body. It's a sneak attack from Ling Lai's combat weapon. Long Yu was no stranger to this soul-setting bracelet. When he was in Jade Gate City, he had already broken the soul-setting bracelet, not to mention now that his cultivation was even stronger. Break from me, Long Yu's dantian pulsated, causing the xian qi in his body to boil. The meridians that were sealed by the soul-setting bracelet were directly opened up by xian qi. His entire body was not affected by the bracelet at all. Kill. At this time, Ling Tianba finally held a long saber in his hand. Using the Ling family's ancestral saber technique, he slashed down towards Long Yu's head. This slash was condensed with Ling Tianba's strongest strength. The saber light was piercingly cold, as if it was going to cut Long Yu in half. Layers of spear shadows. Long Yu finally held the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand. However, he did not activate the 9 nether dragon seal or the 9 nether runes on the spear. Instead, he directly displayed the great success realm heaven-suppressing spear technique. Layers of spear shadows met Ling Tianba's tyrannical slash. Accompanied by a loud bang, Ling Tianba's entire body flew backwards and landed heavily on the ground. The soul-setting bracelet that trapped Long Yu was forcefully shattered by the heaven-suppressing force that he infused into his spear. Once the heaven-suppressing force was unleashed, all the disciples of the Ling family were completely suppressed, especially Ling Lai and Ling Tianba. They felt as if a mountain was pressing down on them, and even breathing became difficult. A crushing defeat. Even though the Ling family had many people, they were no match for the power of Long Yu alone. "Haha, Brother Long, you are indeed powerful." Lu Guanming laughed out loud, and his dark face was full of excitement. "It's just that they are too weak." Long Yu smiled faintly and kept the 9 nether dragon spear. Looking at the Ling family in a complete mess, his expression was indifferent as he walked out of the Ling family mansion. Lu Guanming, Ling Han, and Ling Yue naturally followed closely behind. As for Yao Yin, who originally wanted to watch a good show, he was stunned on the spot. He did not expect Long Yu to be so strong. Heaven's suppressing force. Even Yao Yin himself could not comprehend the heaven-suppressing force of heaven and earth, but this Long Yu actually comprehended it. Could it be that this Long Yu can really deal with the people of the true spirit realm? No, that's impossible. Once the true spirit realm appears, he can suppress everyone. How can a mere 9th rank of the martial path fight against the true spirit realm? Yao Yin thought to himself. No matter what, he did not believe it. He jumped off the wall and caught up to Ling Yue. "Junior sister Yue, wait for me. I was just joking. Now it seems that this Long Yu is still qualified to be with me." Yao Yin. He said this to please Ling Yue, but he did not expect that Ling Yue did not like him at all. Look at Long Yu. Not only was he strong, he did not have the disgusting arrogance of Yao Yin. He was humble to his friends and domineering to his enemies. Yao Yin, on the other hand, was arrogant and conceited just because he had some strength. He swaggered around as if he wanted the whole world to know him. Who would be willing to be with such a person? However, this trip to obtain the lunar fragment was fraught with danger. Having another person from the true spirit realm with them was an additional layer of protection. Ling Yue could only pretend to be polite to Yao Yin and calm him down. The 5 of them quickly rode a fierce horse and left the Ling family villa, galloping toward the ring-shaped mountain range. After Long Yu and the others left, another group of people came to the Ling family villa and found the Ling family mansion. This group of people was Wang Tianjua of the imperial city's Wang family. He brought 2 true spirit realm guards and a follower, Lu Mingsheng. Wang Tianjua wore a golden silk robe and stood proudly in the Ling family mansion. Just as he raised his foot and was about to step into the Ling family mansion, a fierce horse neighed behind him. It's junior sister Feng Yao. Lu Mingcheng looked back and hurriedly reminded him. "Haha, junior sister Feng Yao, we finally meet again." Wang Tianjua laughed loudly and looked back. Sure enough, he saw Feng Yao riding a horse over. Her light green dress swayed. Her facial features were exquisite, and her face was perfect. However, Feng Yao's expression did not seem to be very good. "You asked me to meet you at the Ling family mansion, and I'm here. Don't have any ideas about my father." Feng Yao rode on the horse and said calmly, "Haha, of course. Since junior sister Feng Yao is here, it means that you acknowledge me, Wang Tianjua. Wang Tianjua smiled. Why would I, Wang Tianjua, harm my future father-in-law? Cut the crap. Why did you ask me to come here? Feng Yao's temper was not good, and she asked coldly. I'm here to obtain the lunar fragment and give it to junior sister Feng Yao. Wang Tianjua smiled proudly and said, also, find that brat called Long Yu and get rid of him. Long Yu? He's here too? Feng Yao frowned slightly. This is the information I've gathered. It shouldn't be wrong. Wang Tianjua said. Compared to Long Yu, I'd rather you get rid of another person for me. Feng Yao raised her eyebrows and said, Oh, who's that? Who dares to make our junior sister Feng Yao angry? Wang Tianjua was a little curious. Lu Yuan. Feng Yao spat out two words, which made Wang Tianjua and Lu Mingqing's expressions change. Qingcheng Pavilion, Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan is here too? Lu Mingqing could not help but ask, Cousin, did you meet her? I met her on the way here. Feng Yao said calmly. However, she has already gone to the mineral vein. Young Master Wang, Lu Yuan is the most talented person in the Lu family. She joined the Qingcheng Pavilion at a young age, and is now ranked third among the core disciples of the Qingcheng Pavilion. She's already at LV2 of the True Spirit Secret Realm. Lu Mingqing whispered to Wang Tianjua. Wang Tianjua's expression did not look too good. He had heard of Lu Yuan, and she was not an easy person to deal with. Junior sister Feng Yao, what grudge do you have with her? Isn't your mother from the Lu family? Wang Tianjua asked. She teased and insulted me when I was young, Feng Yao said calmly. Then, she raised her head and stared at Wang Tianjua. As my future husband, you, Wang Tianjua, are not afraid of Lu Yuan, are you? Haha, how is that possible? Wang Tianjua laughed and glanced at the two true spirit realm guards behind him. He said confidently, Don't worry and follow me. If we meet Lu Yuan this time, I, Wang Tianjua, will definitely humiliate her. That's good. Feng Yao got off the horse and walked to Wang Tianjua's side with the bronze ancient sword at her waist. She was alone now, and her cultivation was only at LV8 of the martial path. She had no chance of winning against Lu Yuan. It was good to let Wang Tianjua create some trouble for Lu Yuan for the time being. After all, Feng Yao would not suffer any losses herself. The group of 5 entered the Ling family mansion once again. However, what they saw was the strange scene of the Ling family mansion in a complete mess. What's going on? Are you from the Ling family? Wang Tianjua frowned and asked loudly. Ling Tianba was originally leaning against the wall. He had been heavily injured by Long Yu's spear, and his qi and blood were not flowing smoothly. He needed to rest for a while. Now that he saw Wang Tianjua, who was wearing a golden silk robe, he was shocked. He hurriedly endured the discomfort in his qi and blood and greeted him. Indeed, the appearance of the lunar fragment had attracted many experts from the True Spirit Secret Realm. Chapter 98. Wang Tianjua and Feng Yao stepped into the Ling family mansion together, only to see the Ling family disciples in a mess. When Ling Tianba came up to him, Wang Tianjua asked coldly, Who are you? Where is the Ling family patriarch? I am the Ling family patriarch. Ling Tianba endured the discomfort in his body and said, You are the Ling family patriarch? Wang Tianjua glanced at him and smiled. The 9th rank of the martial path. As expected, there is no expert in the true spirit realm in the entire Ling family mansion. However, why are you in such a sorry state? Young master you are? Ling Tianba asked cautiously. He is the young master of the Wang family, Wang Tianjua. Lu Mingqiang said proudly. We are here to find someone. Have you heard of Long Yu? Long Yu? Ling Tianba was shocked. Everyone in the Ling family had been turned upside down by Long Yu's heaven-suppressing grand power. How could he not have heard of Long Yu? Ling Tianba only knew that Long Yu was a good friend of Ling Han and the Jinqing clan, but he did not know anything else about Long Yu. Now that he heard that Wang Tianjua from the Imperial City's Wang clan was looking for Long Yu, his mind immediately became active. It seems that he is here to find trouble with Long Yu. Ling Tianba thought in his heart, but he pretended to be a yes man and said, "Yes, of course I have. That Long Yu is an evil thief." Wang Tianjua and Lu Mingsheng looked at each other. Lu Mingqing nodded and continued to ask, "Did Long Yu grow up in the Ling family mansion?" Feng Yao, who was at the side, found this strange. Long Yu grew up in the Ling family mansion? Suddenly, Feng Yao recalled that after so many years in the Feng clan, her father, Feng Chang'e, had always kept Long Yu's identity a secret. She only knew that he was banished by some clan in the imperial city and was brought back by Feng Chang'e. Could it be that Long Yu's identity was of great importance? As Feng Yao pondered, she did not reveal her emotions. Right now, she was only using Wang Tianjua. Of course, she would not remind him about Long Yu. Although Feng Yao was unhappy with Long Yu, she was even more unhappy with Wang Tianjua. Long Yu is at our Ling family villa. Ling Tianba was also a little surprised in his heart. He had never heard of Long Yu before. How could this brat possibly grow up in the Ling family manor? However, after thinking about it, he rolled his eyes and asked, "Young master, are you looking for Long Yu because he is his friend?" "Friend my ass. We're looking for him to kill him," Lu Mingsheng said coldly. Oh. Ling Tianba was overjoyed. As expected, they were looking for trouble. He is indeed a member of the Ling family's villa. Unfortunately, after a trip to the heaven-suppressing sect, he became arrogant and despotic. How hateful. If you see him, you must help us clean up the Ling family manor. All of us were injured by him just now. We even raised him for so many years. Ling Tianba heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. He said this because he was afraid that Wang Tianjua would not dare to kill Long Yu because he was from the Jinqing clan. Now that he said that Long Yu was from the Ling family manor, and even he, the head of the Ling family, had spoken up, he would definitely kill him without hesitation. Ling Tianba and all the disciples of the Ling family were no match for Long Yu. If he wanted to save his face, he could only rely on others. Wang Tianjua, of course, did not think that he would become the knife that Ling Tianba borrowed again. When he heard what Ling Tianba said, he immediately snorted. "I didn't expect that brat to be so ungrateful. Where are they now? Seeing you like this, they shouldn't have gone far. They should have entered the mountain. It seems like they're going to fight for the lunar fragment." Ling Tianba replied respectfully, "Let's go." When Wang Tianjua received the news, he did not stay for a moment longer and turned to leave. The five of them arrived at the entrance of the Ling family's mansion, mounted their horses, and galloped toward the mineral vein. Long Yu, Ling Han, Ling Yu, Lu Guanming, and Yao Yin rode their horses and quickly approached the mine that was filled with yin energy. This mineral vein was an endless chain of mountains. Small hills rose and fell one after another, but they were bare, without any flowers or trees growing on them. They looked extremely barren. The place with the most yin energy is the place where the lunar fragment is about to appear. Ling Han led the way as he said, when miners in the Ling family manor were mining, they encountered a place with the most yin energy. The news that the lunar fragment is about to appear spread. When they neared the mine, the horses under the five of them refused to move forward no matter what. After entering the mountain range, the five of them could only dismount and walk on foot. The yin energy that spread through the mountain range was extremely harmful to any living creature. It could be imagined how terrible the lives of the miners who mined here were. Among the five, Ling Yue, who had the lowest cultivation, felt uncomfortable when she came into contact with the yin energy. Fortunately, Ling Han cultivated the noble grand white qi. He used it to form a barrier to block the yin energy for Ling Yue, making her feel much better. "Let's go. Follow me. I've already found the shortest route to that place in the past few days." As Ling Han spoke, he chose a path and headed toward the place where the lunar fragment was about to appear. The path between the small hills was also very complicated. Although there was no lush vegetation, the raised hills blocked people's vision. They could not see the scene several kilometers away. Only a martial cultivator like Ling Han, who is very familiar with the geography of this area, will be able to quickly traverse through the numerous small hills. After the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, the 5 of them were already deep in the hills. As far as the eye could see, there were small hills in all directions. Sometimes they could see a large pile of gravel, accompanied by a strong chi. The miners usually mine underground. However, we're going to find a lunar fragment, so we don't need to go underground. Ling Han explained. After a while, he frowned slightly. There seems to be someone nearby. Ha ha ha. As expected of the former young master of the Ling family manor. You are the local tyrant in this area. Your senses are so sharp. An arrogant and egotistical voice suddenly came from the back of a small hill. Immediately after, 2 figures wearing fiery red robes walked out and instantly arrived beside the 5 of them. Long Yu was a little surprised. Of course, he had also sensed that someone was following them. However, it was only because the other party revealed killing intent that he sensed that trace of killing intent. Ling Han shouldn't be able to sense killing intent so easily. How did he discover that there were people nearby? Long Yu quietly glanced at Yao Yan beside him and realized that even Yao Yan was frowning, as though he was very surprised by the person who had appeared. Obviously, even though he had condensed his true spirit, Yao Yan did not notice anyone following him. I relied on my killing intent, but Ling Han probably sensed the flow of Qi nearby and relied on his familiarity with the Qi to discover those 2 people. Long Yu secretly guessed, and then started to size up the 2 people who were walking over. Both of them wore fiery red robes with a large fire character embroidered on them. This undoubtedly announced their identities. Fire Hidden Palace Disciple. Long Yu and the others immediately felt a chill in their hearts. Most importantly, these 2 people were experts who had condensed their true spirit. One of them was at the 1st level of the true spirit realm, and the other was even stronger, reaching the 2nd level of the true spirit realm. This made Long Yu and the others immediately feel bad. These 2 powerhouses were not what the 5 of them could deal with at the moment. Just like these weak little ones. Silkworm cub, cripple, shallow strokes to show my patience. Bang! One of the rank 2 true spirit experts had a skinny figure and small eyes. He had a mocking expression on his face. I am Huofu, from the Fire Hidden Palace. Ling family's young master. Can you take these little ones away? Play. Iba. Limp. Lips. Music. Jun Huofu. Yao Yan's expression changed. You are Huofu, the son of the Fire Hidden Palace's hall master. I never thought that someone would have heard of me. Is my honor. Huofu's small eyes were filled with contempt. Since you have heard of me, shouldn't you take the initiative to retreat and give the Ling family's young master to me, Huofu? Huofu, we have no intention of offending you. Please don't make things difficult for us and let us leave. When Yao Yan heard Huofu's name, he actually showed weakness. This kind of action made Long Yu, Lu Guanming, Ling Han, and Ling Yue all feel disdain. This Yao Yan, although he had condensed his true spirit, wasn't his personality too cowardly? He was just someone who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Leave on your own. I won't touch you. Huofu looked at everyone with ridicule. Why aren't you thanking Big Brother Huofu? When Yao Yan heard this, he instantly became arrogant and shouted at Long Yu and the others. Could it be that you all want to become Big Brother Huofu's ghosts? If you want to leave, then leave by yourself. No one will stop you. Long Yu said coldly. In front of a great enemy, Yao Yan actually called the other party Big Brother. It was simply laughable. If you don't leave, then just wait to die. Big Brother Huofu is not so easy to deal with. Yao Yan said disdainfully, then looked at Ling Yue, junior sister Yue. Let's go first. Ignore the others. As for your brother, I believe Big Brother Huofu will not make things difficult for him. I want to be with my brother. Ling Yue shook her head, also extremely disdainful of Yao Yan. I've already reminded you, you don't want to live, but I do. Yao Yan snorted coldly, feeling extremely displeased looking at Ling Yue's appearance. Although he wanted Ling Yue, he would not go against Huofu just for her. He had heard that Huofu's methods were ruthless and extremely cruel. If one fell into his hands, it would be a fate worse than death. With this thought, he turned around and left without the slightest bit of reluctance. The team of 5 had just entered the mine and encountered the first wave of enemies, but Yao Yin had retreated without a fight and left everyone behind. Placing our hopes on this kind of person to fight alongside us is a waste of effort. Ling Yue could not help but complain. Huofu, who stood in front of the crowd, stuck out his tongue and licked his lips mockingly. You people really don't know what's good for you. I'm thinking, should I burn you all alive, or should I use fire to blast you all into pieces? Ling Yue could not help but shiver at his words. This Huofu's methods were actually so cruel. It was easy to imagine that if Ling Han followed them alone to lead the way, he would definitely end up in a very miserable state. You can come and try. As Long Yu said this, he walked in front of Ling Han's group and stood in front of Huofu. At this moment, Yao Yin had fled. The only person who had the ability to fight against a true spirit realm expert was Long Yu. He, of course, would not allow the other party to take Ling Han away. Chapter 99. When Long Yu stepped forward, Huofu's already small eyes narrowed into a line. You're quite brave, Huofu said coldly. It's a pity that people with courage but no brains always die the fastest. Xiaoho, teach this bred a lesson. Let him know the consequences of forcefully standing up for those who don't have the strength in this world. As soon as he said this, a young man wearing a fiery red robe behind Huofu said, Young master, is that all? Feng Wen Nuo, Xian Wan Si Baomong, Fake In Xiang Chuanjun, Xiaoho Tianjia. Huofu didn't turn around and said in a stern voice, If you don't want to deal with them? Wan Wei Jun. Hearing this, Xiaoho Tianjia's expression changed. Jintian clan's Baihang. When he and Huofu came here, they met the Jintian clan's core disciple Baihang, who was also an expert in the second level of the true spirit realm. Since Huofu said this, could it be that Baihang was nearby? Xiaoho Tianjia's expression darkened. He knew that Huofu had to be on guard against Baihang. So, these are the ones in front of him? Waving fun, patting lotus flowers with deep forgiveness as soon as he thought of this. The handsome Xiaoho Tianjia walked out. He wore a fiery red robe and quickly stood in front of Huofu. There was a distance of 10 feet between him and Long Yu, and they stood facing each other. Xiaoho Tianjia, never fight with people weaker than me, because that would make me seem tasteless. Xiaoho Tianjia's expression darkened. Asking him to deal with Long Yu and the others was really going against his principles. You guys are really unlucky. I'll give you one more chance. If you want to scram now. Otherwise, no one will be able to leave when I make my move. Xiaoho Tianjia was an expert in the first level of the true spirit realm. In his and Huofu's eyes, an expert who had condensed his true spirit realm wanted to deal with Long Yu and the others. Qiao Xiu, Qiao Xiu, Qiao Xiu, Qiao Xiu, Dinashi, Baihang. When Long Yu heard the conversation between Huofu and Xiaoho Tianjia, he rejoiced inwardly. However, his expression did not change. Huofu, who was at the second stage of the true spirit secret realm, was someone that he, Long Yu, could not deal with. However, Xiaoho Tianjia, who was at the first level of the true spirit secret realm, was not very strong in his eyes. With Long Yu's current strength, he could easily deal with an ordinary expert in the first level of the true spirit realm. Huofu thought that Xiaoho Tianjia could kill him, Long Yu, but he was wrong. As for the Baihang they were talking about, Long Yu had heard of him before. In the Jintian clan, other than the number 1 core disciple, Baihang was ranked second. It was said that he was at the peak of the second level of the true spirit realm. After entering the true spirit realm, it was extremely difficult to increase one's cultivation. Even if it was just 1 level higher, the difference in strength was like heaven and earth. I didn't expect Baihang to be here. Looks like the celestial Yin fragment is really eye-catching. Long Yu thought to himself as he observed Xiaoho Tianjia. He squinted his eyes and said, If you want to kill me, you can do it now. Humph, I've seen people looking for death, but I've never seen someone in such a hurry like you." Xiao Tianjie snorted coldly, and a hint of impatience appeared on his handsome face. "Since I told you to scram, then go and die." As soon as he finished speaking, a flame shadow appeared behind Xiao Tianjie. As a disciple of the Hidden Fire Palace, his true spirit was obviously a flame. As soon as the true spirit appeared, the yin qi in the surroundings was dispersed, and everyone felt a scorching heat. Brother Long. When Ling Han saw this, a worried expression appeared on his face. "Let's take a step back. Don't get in Brother Long's way." Lu Guangming's dark face, however, was calm and composed. He pulled Ling Han along and retreated. He had seen Long Yu fight against the enforcement elder Zheng Yizhen and Tan Wuchuan, so he had full confidence in Long Yu's strength. Feeling the confidence in Lu Guangming's words, Ling Han swallowed and decided to believe in Long Yu. He had never thought that someone in the 9th level of the martial path could defeat an expert who had condensed a true spirit. However, he believed in Lu Guangming's words. Lu Guangming had a straightforward personality and would never speak nonsense. If he said that he had seen Long Yu kill a true spirit, then it was definitely true. "Eus, step back." Ling Han calmed down and shouted at his sister Ling Yue. Ling Yue was a little angry. In front of a great enemy, this dark-faced Lu Guangming actually told them to step back. Did he think that they were timid people? However, she didn't dare to disobey Ling Han's words, so she also took a few steps back. In the eyes of Huofu and Xiao Tianjie, the three of them naturally thought that they wanted to escape. They wanted to use Long Yu's life to exchange for their own safety. "You want to run? Can you?" Xiao Tianjie sneered arrogantly. "How long do you think a mere 9th level of the martial path can stop me?" As soon as he finished speaking, the true spirit behind him exploded into a cluster of flames and formed a firehound. It opened its mouth and roared at Long Yu. A wave of horrifying temperature rushed towards Long Yu. Sky-suppressing momentum, layers of spear shadows. Seeing this, Long Yu immediately gripped the 9 Nether Dragon spear tightly. He raised the tip of the spear and merged it with the sky-suppressing momentum. Instantly, layers of spear shadows swept out toward the firehound. "A mantis trying to stop a chariot. You overestimate yourself." Xiao Tianjie snorted coldly, but then the smile on his face froze. The layers of spear shadows that had merged with the sky-suppressing momentum actually pierced through the firehound's body, dispersing the flame energy within it and completely annihilating it. 9 Nether runes, activate break. Long Yu swept out once again with the spear. The ferocious pressure of the sky, suppressing momentum, descended and instantly shattered the firehound into dust. "The combat weapon in your hand is a spiritual combat weapon." Xiao Tianjie's expression changed slightly. He could tell that the 9 Nether Dragon spear was not ordinary at a glance. "So what if it is?" Long Yu said indifferently. At the same time, he finally realized that above the mortal combat weapon was the spiritual combat weapon, which was exactly the same as the martial skills. "Then it's mine." Xiao Tianjie's face was filled with greed. He waved his hand, and instantly, a cluster of flames condensed in his palm. The various martial skills that the disciples of the Hidden Fire Palace practiced were naturally related to fire. As long as they reached the 7th rank of the martial path, they could condense Xian Qi into flames with a wave of their hand and use it to kill their enemies. After condensing the fire true spirit, they were even more tyrannical. What can a spiritual combat weapon do in the hands of a mere 9th rank of the martial path cultivator? "Why don't you let it shine in my hands?" Xiao Tianjie shouted, and immediately, the flames in his hand swept towards Long Yu and exploded in mid-air. Flame explosion. The flames exploded, and instantly, a wave of destructive energy covered the entire area. Against the disciples of the Hidden Fire Palace, speed is useless. The range of their martial skills is too wide. Long Yu's heart trembled. Against Xiao Tianjie's flame explosion martial skill, even if he cultivated the demon's subduing body, he might not be able to completely block it. Luckily, before the flames exploded, he subconsciously swept away the 9 Nether Dragon spear and executed the Nether Dragon leap, leaping high into the sky. The Nether Dragon leap jumped hundreds of feet. Such a powerful leap allowed him to take in the surrounding terrain in an instant. As expected, not far away, there was a group of 4 people hiding behind a small hill, observing the situation. They should be the people brought by Baihang. Long Yu didn't think too much about it. Right now, the most important thing for him was to defeat Xiahou Tianjie. Reverse scale, tentacle, kill. He used all his strength to bite his finger and sprinkled the blood on the 9 Nether Dragon spear. Immediately, the 9 Nether Chi enveloped his entire body. Accompanied by the surging power of the heaven-suppressing great power, a terrifying spear descended from the sky and stabbed towards Xiahou Tianjie. Did he run up the mountain? The corner of Xiahou Tianjie's mouth curled up slightly. Profound qi gathered in his body, and instantly, the fire true spirit behind him formed a huge flaming claw. It grabbed towards the top of his head, wanting to grab hold of Long Yu and burn him to death. Blink, wind, step, dodge. In a flash, Long Yu actually abandoned the 9 Nether Dragon spear and distanced himself from the flaming claw. The 9 Nether Dragon spear carried a terrifying might and instantly pierced the flaming claw. The pressure of the heaven and earth instantly descended. However, Xiahou Tianjie had also comprehended the charm of the fire-concealing art. Furthermore, because he had condensed his true spirit, his basic strength far surpassed Long Yu's. The heaven-suppressing great power and the fire-concealing art instantly collided and exploded, enveloping the sky in a cloud of fire. It's actually the heaven-suppressing art's heaven and earth grand power. This child's talent is very strong. Huofu guarded against the nearby Zhentian clan's Baihang while watching the battle. He already had some recognition of the strength that Long Yu had displayed. However, in Huofu's view, the gap between the 9th stage of the martial Dao and the true spirit realm was completely insurmountable. In the end, this child would definitely be incinerated by Xiahou Tianjie. This spirit-level combat weapon was abandoned by you just like that. If it had a spirit, I'm sure it would be very distressed. A hint of ridicule appeared on Xiahou Tianjie's handsome face as he looked at Long Yu, who had dodged to the side, and the 9 Nether Dragon spear that had fallen to the ground. Do you think the spear is all I have? The corner of Long Yu's mouth curled up as he said. Of course, he was very reluctant to lose the 9 Nether Dragon spear, but he was confident that he could retrieve it. Moreover, in that situation, if he did not use the 9 Nether Dragon spear to destroy that burst of flames, he would definitely be severely injured. With his current cultivation at the 9th stage of the martial Dao, his basic strength was far inferior to his opponents. With just the 9 Nether Dragon spear and the heaven-suppressing spear art, there was really no way for him to win. His trump card was still the 9 Nether Dragon fist. Naive. Xiahou Tianjie immediately laughed in disdain. I admit that relying on the spirit-level combat weapon, you do indeed have extraordinary strength. However, without the combat weapon, you are nothing. Is that so? Then do you dare to exchange a punch with me? Long Yu was trying to provoke him. If you want to exchange a punch with me, I won't. Xiahou Tianjie sneered and stomped his foot heavily on the ground, exploding flame earth. As soon as his voice fell, the ground in the entire area suddenly split open and a layer of raging flames instantly appeared, completely expelling the surrounding yin qi. At the same time, Long Yu felt as if his entire body was in a furnace, and the ground beneath his feet suddenly became boiling hot. Whether it was the raging flame explosion or the exploding flame earth, they were both spirit-level martial skills. This Xiahou Tianjie's strength was much stronger than Zheng Yijin and Tan Wuchuan. In the next moment, Long Yu's figure actually gradually dissipated from the exploding flames. It was actually just an afterimage. Behind you, Huofu shouted. Xiahou Tianjie's expression changed. He was about to turn around, but it was already too late. Chapter 100. As Long Yu's afterimage disappeared, a simulated Yellow Springs road appeared behind Xiahou Tianjie. The dense nine-hell qi contained within it instantly caused him to lose his composure and freeze on the spot. Nine-hell explosion. Long Yu roared and punched the ground that was spewing flames. It turned out that when he separated from the nine-hell dragon spear, he had created an afterimage to attract everyone's attention. His main body had used the ghost flash that had reached the large success stage and temporarily turned into ghost qi. When Long Yu rode his horse to the Ling family's villa, he had comprehended the ghost flash to the large success stage and could finally turn into ghost qi. Ghost qi was colorless and formless. This way, no one would be able to find out where he was. Although it was only for an instant, under the current situation, he had already won. He turned into ghost qi and rushed behind Xiahou Tianjie. Then, he condensed into a body and punched out with a nine-hell fist. Xiahou Tianjie's attention was attracted by the afterimage, and he was not prepared at all. Then he was hit by the nine-hell explosion from the ground and was enveloped by the nine-hell qi. Xiahou Tianjie, the expert at the second level of the true spirit realm, Huofu, who was watching the battle from the side, clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were filled with violence. When he saw that the situation was not right, he wanted to make a move. However, a powerful aura came from the side and enveloped him. He understood that if he moved, there would be an even more violent attack. Buying had been watching from the side. Because of this, Huofu let Xiahou Tianjie deal with Long Yu. Who would have thought that Xiahou Tianjie was not a match for a mere 9th level of the martial path cultivator? After being enveloped by the nine-hell explosion, Xiahou Tianjie had no time to react. His entire body was filled with nine-hell qi, completely corroding his meridians and dantian. When the netherworld qi dissipated, the flames on the ground also gradually dissipated. What appeared in front of everyone was Xiahou Tianjie's originally handsome but now shriveled corpse. This scene made Huofu's eyes almost pop out of their sockets. "Brat, are you tired of living for killing people from my fire depository palace?" Huofu said coldly. Long Yu stood on the ground and took back the 9 nether dragon spear. He calmly said, "In this world, the strong are always respected. Could it be that only you are allowed to kill, and others are not allowed to kill you?" "Exactly." Lu Guanming laughed heartily at the side. "If it wasn't for Brother Long's power, we would be the ones dying now. We have no enmity with your hidden fire hall. You are the one who came looking for trouble." Right now, Huofu was actually feeling a little regretful. Looking at Xiahou Tianjie's corpse, he coldly snorted. He really did not expect Long Yu to be so strong. He was actually able to kill an expert in the 1st rank of the true spirit realm at the 9th rank of the martial path. "The next time I see you, I will definitely burn you to death." Ruthlessness flashed in Huofu's eyes as he turned around and left. After Xiahou Tianjie's death, he was left alone while the Jintian clan, including Bai Hang, had 7 or 8 people. No matter how strong Huofu was, he was not a match for them. Even if it was just Bai Hang, Huofu was not willing to face him. As such, he naturally had to leave first. As Huofu left, Long Yu let out a sigh of relief. With his current strength, it was really impossible for him to face an expert in the 2nd rank of the true spirit realm. So powerful. Ling Han and Ling Yue watched Long Yu's battle from the side and felt that Long Yu was like a god of war. So what if he was only in the 9th rank of the martial path and had no true spirit? One punch to destroy the 9 hells, drunk in the Yellow Springs, devouring everything. Amazing, amazing. A carefree laugh rang out from behind a small hill. Then, a handsome man dressed in white walked out, followed by 3 other people. Bai Hang. Long Yu and the other 3 looked in Bai Hang's direction. When they saw the 3 people following Bai Hang, they couldn't help but frown. The 3 people were Ian, Lu Shucheng, and Hua Yiluan. All 3 of them were core disciples of the Jintian clan, but all of them had conflicts with Long Yu. Could it be that Bai Hang was related to them? The 3 of them followed Bai Hang out of the small hill, their complexions not looking too good. They clearly did not expect that the current Long Yu was strong enough to kill a true spirit realm expert. "Senior Bai, Long Yu is really disrespectful. Lu Shuqing walked out from behind the small hill and looked at Long Yu with jealousy. He began to criticize him. Although he has some strength, he used it to do whatever he wanted. He even killed a core disciple of the Hidden Fire Hall. Isn't this making enemies for the Jintian clan? When Long Yu heard this, he looked at Lu Shuqing and said indifferently, "According to what you said, the people from the Fire Depository Palace have bullied you and wanted to kill you. You should beg them to spare your life. Is it the only way? Or you should be like Yao Yin and run away with your tail between your legs. That is the only way to gain face for the Jintian clan and raise the prestige of the Jintian clan." This sentence was filled with sarcasm, and it made Lu Shuqing speechless. The entire matter was indeed brought upon by the people of the Hidden Fire Hall. Long Yu, in the face of oppression, had retaliated and killed one of them. This did not seem to be inappropriate. After saying this, Long Yu no longer cared about Lu Shuqing and the other two. Instead, he turned his attention to Baiyang. Baiyang was dressed in white. As the second core disciple of the Jintian clan, he was strong even though he was only 23 or 24 years old. As he walked over, he looked like he was floating in the air. "Long Yu, senior brother Bu has mentioned you to me before. He thinks highly of you." As Baiyang walked over, he smiled and said, "It seems that he was right about you. I just didn't expect you to come to fight for the lunar fragment. I'm only here for my brother." Long Yu glanced at Ling Han and said, if not for Ling Han's invitation, he would not have known that the lunar fragment was about to appear. Furthermore, he was not interested in the lunar fragment. "What a good coming for your brother." "Ha!" Baiyang smiled and said, "That's right. Since we have the same goal, why don't we travel together? We could take care of each other. How about that?" Long Yu frowned slightly. He glanced at the three people behind Baiyang and shook his head, saying, "Travel together? Forget it." If he traveled with Yin, Lu Shuqing, and Hua Yiluan, he might be stabbed in the back by the three of them. That would be tragic, just like Yao Yin before. If he was not a trustworthy person, even if they traveled together, it would still be useless. Hearing this, Baiyang smiled calmly. In reality, he was just putting on an act. If he really traveled with Long Yu, he would feel that Long Yu would drag him down. Furthermore, if they traveled together, there would at most be one lunar fragment. How would they split it? Then forget it. Let's part ways here. Baiyang smiled and turned to leave. "Let's go." Hua Yiluan, a gray-clothed, sword-wielding male who had once lost to Long Yu, took a look at Long Yu and then followed Baiyang. Not long ago, Hua Yiluan, as a core disciple, took care of Baiyang who had just entered the sect. But now, Baiyang was already the number 2 core disciple. He took care of him. Hua Yiluan was not young anymore. If he was unable to make a breakthrough, his life would probably pass like that. It was precisely because of this that he invited Baiyang to come and try for him, to see if he could obtain the lunar fragment. "Senior apprentice brother Bai, that Long Yu really didn't give you face. He invited them along out of goodwill, but they rejected. They really don't know what's good for them." Lu Shuqing followed behind Baiyang and said flatteringly. However, Baiyang ignored him. Although that Long Yu could kill a LV1 true spirit realm cultivator, he has offended the young master of Hidden Fire Temple. Without senior apprentice brother Bai's support, I'd like to see how Huofu will burn him to death. Ian's eyes flashed with hatred as he spoke. However, Baiyang also ignored him. Ian and Lu Shuqing were only friends with Hua Yiluan. They did not know Baiyang at all. Of course, Baiyang did not have to give him face. After Baiyang left with his men, Long Yu let out a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that Baiyang was hostile towards him. If that was the case, with his current strength, he would definitely not be a match for Baiyang. Although he had killed Xiahou Qianjia just now, that move of exploding flame earth had caused him to feel a burning pain all over his body, especially the area under his feet, which had been charred black. If he had not cultivated the demon exorcist body, he would have been burned to death by the scorching ground. "Senior apprentice brother Ling Han, let's go." Long Yu turned around and nodded at Ling Han. They had just entered the mineral vein, but they had already encountered 2 LV2 true spirit realm experts. It would not be easy to fight for the lunar fragment. Fortunately, Long Yu felt that he had a deeper understanding of the heavenly suppressing law in the battle earlier. If there's another stressful battle, I might be able to achieve the heavenly suppressing territory. Long Yu's eyes flashed. That way, even if I face a LV2 true spirit realm expert, I won't be defeated so quickly. Ling Han, Ling Yue, and Lu Guanming were completely impressed by Long Yu. Originally, Ling Han had treated Long Yu as a junior apprentice brother, but now he clearly knew that Long Yu was much stronger than him. The current Long Yu could already kill a LV1 true spirit realm expert alone, but he, Ling Han, was still only at the LV8 martial path. Ling Han had not initially wanted to rely on Long Yu to obtain the lunar fragment, but now it seemed that if he did not rely on Long Yu, he had no chance of obtaining the lunar fragment. The competition for the lunar fragment was too intense. However, Ling Han did not expect that Long Yu's strength would improve so quickly. It was so fast that it was unimaginable. Yao Yan's departure proved that Long Yu indeed had the strength to kill an LV1 true spirit realm expert. Ling Yue looked at Long Yu with a trace of admiration and curiosity. She did not expect her brother to be acquainted with such an outstanding expert and become good friends with him. Only Lu Guanming's face remained dark as he smiled heartlessly, not thinking too much about it. This guy was a one-track mind. He felt that it was completely normal for Long Yu to be able to kill a true spirit realm expert. What was there to be surprised about? He did not expect that such an achievement was rare in the entire heavenly mandate continent. The true spirit represented the absolute might of one's strength and the absolute nobility of one's status. Other than Long Yu, there were very few people who could kill a true spirit realm expert with the strength of the LV9 martial path. One could imagine what kind of heaven-defying figure Long Yu would become if he condensed his true spirit. Just thinking about it made Long Yu and the others look forward to it. It was very likely that Long Yu could create a legend of the Jintian clan, or even a legend of the Tang Empire. As they walked, several wolf howls suddenly came from a certain direction, causing the four to feel nervous. Be careful, it's the gray wolves of the mine. They usually move in packs and hunt for food. Our mountain village's miners have suffered greatly. Chapter 101. Wolves? Long Yu was puzzled. This mine is filled with dense yin qi. It shouldn't be suitable for any living creatures. Why are there wolves here? You might not know this, but these wolves are formed from yin qi and possess spirituality. Ling Han explained, you can think of them as the guardians of the yin mine. Any martial cultivators or demonic beasts that invade this mine are their natural enemies. There's actually such an existence. Long Yu was shocked. Yin qi had condensed into an azure wolf that had gained sentience. Wasn't this similar to a battle weapon that had gained sentience? Yes, the heavenly mandate continent is extremely vast and full of wonders. Ling Han's expression was solemn. The royal family has to send an army to exterminate these wolves every year to kill most of them. However, due to the dense yin qi in the mine, more wolves will appear every once in a while, and we can't kill them all. I see. Let me take a look. Long Yu nodded and swept the 9 abyss dragon spear in his hand. A gust of air rolled him up, and he leaped hundreds of feet into the air. He looked around, and his expression darkened. In the direction they were heading, there was a large pack of wolves with yin qi wandering. If they continued forward, they would definitely encounter a large pack of wolves. Furthermore, the pack of wolves seemed to have sensed their arrival, and several of them were running in their direction. Long Yu landed from the sky and steadied himself. He immediately said, "Everyone, be careful. There are many wolves attacking. Brother Long, we don't have to be too nervous. Although there are many wolves condensed from yin qi, each one of them is only at the 5th or 6th stage of the martial path. It's rare to see stronger existences appear." Ling Han said, "With our strength, we can even force our way through. I'm just worried that we will be ambushed by other martial cultivators when we charge through the wolf pack." You're underestimating them. Long Yu's expression was solemn. Just from what I can see, there are several powerful wolves that have condensed their true spirits. The situation is more serious than you say. What? Ling Han and Ling Yue were both shocked. A powerful ash wolf that has condensed a true spirit? The gray wolves of the true spirit secret realm rarely appear in a year. Why are there so many of them now? Ling Yue was clearly skeptical. However, Ling Han's brows were tightly furrowed. Could it be that it's because the extreme Yin fragment is about to appear that these wolves have condensed their true spirits? No matter what, we have to give it a try. They're already here. Long Yu sensed the cold killing intent coming from a few wolves not far away and knew that they had been targeted. It was obviously impossible to change direction. It's finally my turn. Lu Guangming's face lit up with excitement. After watching Long Yu kill Xiahou Tianjia, his hands had been itching for a fight. Now that he could finally make his move, he didn't care whether his opponent was formed from Yin Qi or a real living being, as long as he could practice. Ling Yue was also eager to give it a try. She wanted to let Long Yu know that she wasn't powerless. However, when the first few wolves rushed over, her delicate little face suddenly froze. True spirit. The leading wolf had indeed condensed a true spirit. A phantom of the lunar claw floated behind the wolf, emitting a sinister and terrifying aura. As for the other wolves, they were all at the 8th or 9th level of the martial Dao. Although there were only 6 wolves in total, their overall strength was already stronger than Long Yu's group of 4. Go! Long Yu did not show the slightest bit of fear. With the 9 Nether Dragon Spear in hand, he charged forward. 9 Nether, activate. Layers of spear shadows. This was a battle of life and death. Long Yu did not hold back at all. Furthermore, there was no need to compete with these strange creatures formed from Yin Qi. If he had any moves, he could just use them. Kill. Long Yu's figure flickered as his body transformed into a gentle breeze. In an instant, he arrived in front of one of the wolves covered in Yin energy. This wolf was probably at the 9th level of the martial Dao. When it stood up, it was the same size as Long Yu. When it saw Long Yu attacking, it immediately clawed at him, bringing with it gusts of cold wind. However, in the next moment, layers of spear shadows swept over. Following the descent of the heaven-suppressing force, the wolf was instantly shattered. Long Yu took the lead and killed a 9th level martial Dao wolf with a single move of the heaven-suppressing spear art. Immediately after, he turned the tip of his spear and the heaven-suppressing force enveloped the entire area, suppressing the speed of the remaining 5 wolves. Imperial Boulder, kill. Lu Guangming laughed out loud. With a raise of his hand, he immediately controlled the surrounding boulders and threw them at the 5 wolves. Lu Guangming and Ling Han were both at the 8th level of the martial Dao, while Ling Yue was at the 6th level of the martial Dao. Thus, after Lu Guangming made his move, Ling Han also used his Grand White Spirit. As he attacked the wolves, he paid more attention to protecting Ling Yue. With Ling Yue's cultivation, if these wolves were to get close to her, she would definitely die. Layers of spear shadows. With the Imperial Dragon Spear in his hand, he swept it horizontally, instantly forcing back the 5 wolves that pounced over. Among them, the wolf that had condensed the great Yin Claw only retreated slightly before immediately pouncing toward Long Yu. A dense Yin energy enveloped him. Although the wolf formed from Yin energy has condensed a true spirit, can it really defeat a true spirit realm expert? Long Yu wasn't afraid. He directly threw the 9 Nether Dragon Spear at a 9th level martial Dao wolf. Without any suspense, the spear carried a terrifying 9 Nether aura and instantly shattered the body of the wolf, causing it to dissipate into the air. Immediately after, he clenched his fist and punched at the great Yin wolf. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, imitating the path of the Yellow Springs, kill. Long Yu swung his fist, but he suddenly realized that the great Yin wolf wasn't intimidated by the 9 Nether aura at all. As expected, it's not a real living being. However, This punch will be enough to make you feel better. Long Yu thought to himself as his fist finally collided with the opponent's great Yin claw. After a loud explosion, Long Yu took a few steps back. The difference in basic strength put him at a disadvantage in the process of a head-on clash. However, right after that, he continued to slam his fist into the ground. Another explosion. The punch smashed into the ground, almost connecting to the yellow springs. Immediately, another explosion rushed out of the ground and enveloped the great Yin wolf. The Yin energy that had condensed into the great Yin wolf was instantly dispersed by the nether energy. The entire great Yin wolf was annihilated by the impact of the nether explosion. Even the condensed great Yin claw true spirit was instantly reduced to ashes. This wasn't the first time Long Yu had killed a powerful existence that had condensed a true spirit. At this moment, his technique was already incomparably proficient and had reached the point of perfection. When he killed the great Yin wolf, the other wolves were also killed by Lu Guanming and Ling Han. Lu Guanming's high-grade martial skill, Imperial Boulder, had already reached the perfection realm. When used, his defense was extremely strong, and his attack power was also extremely good. However, what he used to kill these wolves was not the Imperial Boulder, but the devil-subduing Vajra seal. Long Yu knew that Lu Guanming was Yu Shuiyun's disciple. Naturally, he knew the wonders of Long Yu's cultivation of the demon-subduing tyrant body. Therefore, he also learned from Long Yu and chose to cultivate the demon-subduing tyrant body. To Lu Guanming, using the devil-subduing Vajra seal to deal with these wolves was extremely effective. As for Ling Han, he had used the Great White Noble Qi. Just like Lu Guanming, although he was only at the 8th level of the Martial Dao, he could kill the 9th level Martial Dao Yin Wolf like a dog. I don't need to use the devil-subduing Vajra seal. Although this move can restrain Yin spirits, its power is not as great as the 9 Nether Dragon Spear and the 9 Nether Dragon Fist. Long Yu thought to himself, right now, he was only at the 9th level of the Martial Dao. It was impossible for him to kill the great Yin wolf that had condensed a true spirit with the devil-subduing Vajra seal. He still had to use his own unique method of violence. Brother Long, the bodies of these wolves all contain a Yin energy pill. Because the Yin energy has condensed into a wolf, most of the Yin energy pill contains demonic energy. After the wolf pack was completely taken care of, Ling Han walked forward and said with a smile, "If you absorb the Yin energy pill in the body of these wolves, the effect will not be inferior to swallowing a high-grade pill." When Long Yu heard this, he nodded and looked around. He had just killed a total of 6 Yin energy wolves, leaving behind 6 Yin energy pills that were glowing with a faint light on the ground. It could be discovered that the stronger the Yin energy wolf, the larger the Yin energy pill it contained. Naturally, it would have a better effect on raising one's cultivation level. You guys keep these Yin energy pills for now. You can slowly absorb them when you get back. Long Yu felt the largest Yin energy pill, the one contained within the body of the great Yin wolf. It was probably only slightly better than a high-grade pill. This little bit of effect was not enough for him to condense his true spirit, so there was no need to waste time absorbing it. Ling Han also knew that time was tight, so he put away all 6 Yin energy pills. Then, the 4 of them once again headed towards their destination. In the Heavenly Mandate continent, although martial arts practitioners could rely on pills to quickly raise their cultivation level, the effect of pills of the same nature would be reduced after taking a second one. It might even be less than half of the first one. And these 6 Yin energy pills were the same. After taking one, the effect of taking a second one would be greatly reduced. Otherwise, it would not be so difficult to raise one's cultivation level in the Heavenly Mandate continent. Because of this, Long Yu's Dragon Seal of 9 Underworlds could completely absorb the effects of the pills, which was why it was so heaven-defying. One Supreme Grade pill was equivalent to 3 pills in his hands. One could imagine how much of an advantage he had compared to others. The 4 of them headed forward and felt a dense Yin energy attacking them from afar. The location where the lunar fragment will appear is not far ahead. However, there's so many wolves in front. How do we get there? Just like what Long Yu had seen before, there were hundreds of energy wolves wandering in a circle in front of them. With just the four of them, it was impossible for them to pass. Just when they were at their wits' end, many figures suddenly appeared in the surroundings and immediately attacked the large group of wolves. It's Baiyang and Huofu. Chapter 102. With a glance, Long Yu saw a total of 4 experts at the second level of the true spirit realm charging towards the large pack of wolves. Among them, the Jintian clan core disciple, Baiyang, who was dressed in a white robe and wielded a 3-foot sword, charged into the pack of wolves like a flying immortal. The Heaven's Might sword skill that had been cultivated to the pinnacle realm. Baihang's move was much more powerful than the one that Deacon Elder Zheng Yizhen had displayed. A casual swing of the sword could cut a wolf into pieces. The Heaven's Might shook the area, and the wolves that had yet to form their true spirits were instantly destroyed. Baihang's strength has reached the pinnacle LV2 true spirit realm. A casual swing of his sword is more powerful than my full strength. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. The other person was dressed in a fiery red robe. He was a young palace master of the Fire Depository Palace, Huofu. Huofu's eyes were filled with brutality. His entire body seemed to be wrapped in flames as he charged into the pack of wolves like a fireball. The burning flames were very effective in restraining the wolves. With a casual wave of Huofu's hand, raging flames exploded, incinerating quite a few inchy gray wolves. He was much more efficient than Long Yu. It's the same raging flame explosion, but the might of Huofu's raging flame explosion is much stronger than Xiahou Tianjia's. Long Yu saw it and began to compare. If I was fighting against Huofu and not Xiahou Tianjia, I'm afraid he would only need to use this move to severely injure me. After stepping into the true spirit realm, the difference between LV1 and LV2 was too great. If they were to fight, an expert at LV2 true spirit realm could fight against at least 3 LV1 true spirit realm opponents. It would not be a problem for him to fight against 3 at once. However, in the field, the most dazzling one was neither Baihang nor Huofu. Although the speed at which the two of them killed the energy ash wolves was extremely fast, they were still not as fast as the other person. It was a beautiful young girl in her 20s. She wore a black outfit that outlined her intoxicating curves. Her fair and soft hands were waving 2 scarlet short swords agilely. The blades of the swords flashed with a white, flowing light. As her graceful figure twisted, streaks of white light shot out. Each of the streaks of white light could smash a wolf with Qi into pieces. In the blink of an eye, wherever her figure went, the wolves of Qi were completely annihilated and dispersed into dense Qi. Amidst the dusky Qi, her perfect figure was faintly discernible under her black clothes. It was even more beautiful. Even the gazes of Baihang and Huofu, who were nearby, were focused on her from time to time. That's Lu Yuan. Ling Han seemed to have noticed that Long Yu was observing the young girl and introduced. Lu Yuan's position in the Qingqing Pavilion is equivalent to that of Baiyang. She's also at the peak of LV2 True Spirit Realm. Furthermore, she is known as the hope of the Lu family in the Imperial City. She is the strongest person in the Lu family. Lu Yuan. Long Yu frowned slightly. There were people from the Lu family everywhere. Among the 7 sects of the Tang Kingdom, there was Lu Mingxiang from the Ice sect, Lu Yi from the Broken Blade sect, and even Lu Yuan from the Qingqing Pavilion. And this Lu Yuan was actually the strongest person in the Lu family in the Imperial City. I remember that Feng Yao was so obsessed with cultivation because she was bullied by someone when she was young. It seems to be this Lu Yuan. Long Yu thought to himself as he turned his attention to the last expert at LV2 True Spirit Realm. The person was wearing a red robe. He was skinny and had a seductive face. At first glance, it was hard to tell whether he was a man or a woman. However, this person's strength was also extremely terrifying. With a casual wave of his hand, flowers and leaves would appear out of thin air. Each flower and leaf was sharper than a sword. They easily cut the wool formed from inchi into countless pieces, causing it to dissipate into waves of inchi. Long Yu seemed to have seen this move before. Hua Buxi. Long Yu narrowed his eyes as he suddenly recalled the LV-8 Martial Path siblings, Hua Yun and Hua Qing, whom he had killed in the royal ginseng forest. The skinny woman, Hua Yun, had used the martial skill plucking flowers and leaves. It was not the martial skill of the ice sect, but the martial skill of her family. At that time, Feng Yao had warned Long Yu that Hua Buxi, the elder brother of Hua Yun and Hua Qing, would not let him go so easily. Now it seemed that the seductive figure in front of him was undoubtedly Hua Buxi. So it's a man. Long Yu came to a realization. If Feng Yao had not told him that Hua Buxi was the elder brother of the siblings, Long Yu would not have been able to tell the gender of Hua Buxi. Of course, gender was not the main point. The main point was that Hua Buxi's strength was indeed on par with the other three experts. Whether it was Baihang, Hua Fu, Lu Yuan, or Hua Buxi, none of the four experts was a match for the current Long Yu. It seems that it will be too difficult to get the lunar fragment this time, Long Yu thought to himself. However, it was impossible for him to back down now. Regardless of whether he could get it or not, he had to give it a try. As for Hua Buxi, Long Yu was not particularly afraid of him. Although he was no match for Hua Buxi, with his current skills, it was not a problem for him to stay alive. The four experts attacked at the same time, and in an instant hundreds of inchi wolves were scattered. In just a few breaths' time, 30 to 40 inchi wolves had been killed, turning into inchi and disappearing in the air. The remaining inchi wolves fled in all directions under the leadership of a few lunar wolves that had condensed their true spirits. Evidently, they had seen the power of the four experts and did not want to fight them head-on. The four experts did not give up. They each went in 4 different directions and quickly disappeared from everyone's sight. "Let's go now." Long Yu waved his hand and immediately rushed forward with Ling Han, Ling Yue, and Lu Guanming. They were prepared to break through the area in front of them. When the inchi wolves were dispersed by the four experts, the place where the lunar fragment would appear was not far away. It was a deep pit surrounded by mountains. There were several paths that led to it. Now, the path that Long Yu and Ling Han were taking was the closest one. After 5 minutes, the four finally approached the deep pit surrounded by mountains. A gust of inchi greeted them, as if it was trying to corrode their souls. "This is the lunar qi." Long Yu's heart shook. The inchi coming from the deep pit was more than 10 times thicker than the inchi in the mine outside. However, he could feel that the two kinds of inchi were similar. Perhaps he could guess that the lunar fragment was formed from incomparably thick inchi. Of course, how the lunar fragment was formed was not something that Long Yu should be concerned with. The most important thing was how to obtain the lunar fragment. The four followed the shortest path and finally arrived at the entrance of the deep pit. From this entrance, they could see the entire deep pit. Long Yu looked over and could see that this deep pit was about the same size as the Feng residence of Jade Pass City or the Ling family residence. From one end to the other, there was a distance of several hundred zhang. In the deep pit, there were no inchi wolves. There was only thick and dense inchi that constantly spewed out from the ground. It was impossible to see the situation inside the deep pit or on the other side. There are already people inside. Ling Han frowned slightly and said, "I grew up here and have a unique sense for inchi. Right now, there are already 3 groups of people inside the deep pit. Can you feel who it is?" Long Yu asked. Ling Han was sensitive to inchi. This was good news. At least it would give them an advantage in the process of fighting for the lunar fragment. "That won't do. I can only feel that there are a total of 5 people standing in 3 different directions. They have already entered the deep pit." Ling Han said, 5 people, divided into 3 groups? Long Yu frowned slightly. He could not guess who the other party was. "Stay here and don't move. I will go in and take a look. If there is anything wrong, you must take care of your own lives." After Long Yu said this, he did not wait for Ling Han and the others to react. He jumped into the deep pit. His figure was instantly enveloped by graying qi. He disappeared from the sight of Ling Han and the others, causing the three to feel some hatred. This guy actually went out by himself and left them behind. Of course, they could understand what Long Yu was thinking. After all, those who came to fight for the extreme fragment were all experts of the true spirit realm. There were even existences like Bai Heng and Lu Yuan who were at the second level of the true spirit realm. With their cultivation of 2 8th-level martial Dao and 1 6th-level martial Dao, if they were to clash with those people, they would definitely die without even knowing how they died. However, could Long Yu, who was only at the 9th stage of the martial path, really contend with those experts and obtain the lunar fragment? This time, even Lu Guanming, who was extremely confident in Long Yu, did not have any confidence at all. Long Yu jumped into the deep pit, and the dense yin qi immediately enveloped him. At a glance, he could only see the scene within 100 feet in front of him. Beyond that, there were layers of gray yin qi that obstructed his vision like a fog. Footsteps constantly entered Long Yu's ears, causing him to walk towards the source of the footsteps. Duanmu Tsonglong, Yang Tiansua. Soon, Long Yu saw 2 figures appear in front of him. One of them was dressed in white with a cold expression. If it wasn't Yang Tiansua, who had threatened Long Yu before, who else could it be? As for the other person, he was dressed in green with a straight posture. He was the 4th-ranked core disciple of the Jintian clan, Duanmu Tsonglong. He was at the peak of the 1st level of the true spirit realm. When Long Yu saw the two of them also saw Long Yu, and their eyes lit up. Haha, it's this kid, and he's alone. What a big surprise. Duanmu Tsonglong laughed. Yang Tiansua, do you think we should kill him now, or let him go on account of us being from the same sect? He's here for the lunar fragment. Since we've met, why don't we finish him off first? Yang Tiansua said coldly. He seemed to have no feelings for Long Yu, who came from the same sect. Well said. Duanmu Tsonglong looked at Long Yu with disdain. A mere 9th rank of the martial path dares to covet the lunar fragment? You're courting death. Don't blame me. As his voice fell, he didn't hesitate in the slightest, stepping forward towards Long Yu Xuan. Soul-shaking fist. Duanmu Tsonglong bellowed, and a fist flew through the air, intending to intimidate Imperial Dragon's soul. Long Yu was mentally prepared when he saw the 2 of them. Now that Duanmu Tsonglong was really going to attack him, there was no hope left in his heart. Duanmu Tsonglong, to kill your own sect member, I can't believe you would do that. Long Yu snorted coldly. With the spear in his hand, layers of spear shadows descended along with the heaven-suppressing grand aura. Since Duanmu Tsonglong was heartless, then there was no need for him, Long Yu. Chapter 103. Without a word, Duanmu Tsonglong threw a punch at Long Yu. As for Long Yu, he gripped the spear in his hand tightly. Spear shadows were released, accompanied by a violent pressure that dispersed much of the dense yin qi around him. Soul-shaking fist. If I'm hit by his punch, I won't be able to use any martial skills. Long Yu thought as he attacked. With my current martial Dao realm, if I can't use martial skills against Duanmu Tsonglong, only death awaits me. Layers upon layers of spear shadows swept out, while Long Yu's body suddenly transformed into spectral qi. Unexpectedly, his entire person dissipated within the dense yin qi. Duanmu Tsonglong's punch, which was powerful enough to shock the soul, collided with the spear shadows and exploded with a loud bang. The spear shadows turned into air currents and collapsed in an instant. However, Long Yu disappeared before his eyes. 9 Nether Dragon Fist. Long Yu's figure suddenly appeared above Duanmu Tsonglong's head and punched out. At the same time, a yellow spring's path materialized from above and enveloped Duanmu Tsonglong. The dense 9 Nether Chi stunned Duanmu Tsonglong. 9 Nether Dragon Fist was a supreme grade martial skill. Its effect even surpassed some spiritual level martial skills. Using this move, Long Yu had already killed many strong enemies, and now, Duanmu Cunlong was also stunned by the simulated Yellow Springs path, and was about to be killed by Long Yu's fist. Seeing your brother Duanmu, Yang Tiansua was shocked. Why wasn't Duanmu Cunlong moving? He didn't have time to think. Suddenly, he used the supreme-grade martial skill, Sky Wave Crossing. A white Xianqi wave swept towards Long Yu. Huh? Long Yu laughed. I didn't expect senior brother Duanmu to be so timid. You want to use a sneak attack against a mere 9th-level martial path cultivator like me. As soon as he finished speaking, he took out the 9 nether dragon spear from his back and casually swept it out, easily dispersing Yang Tiansua's white, profound energy ripples. Then, the blizzard boots on his feet flashed, and a layer of ice and snow swirled out, instantly binding Yang Tiansua. Even the Xianqi in his body slowed down. Following that, Long Yu ignored Yang Tiansua. His main opponent was still Duanmu Cunlong. Unfortunately, because of Yang Tiansua's interruption, Duanmu Cunlong had already recovered from his daze and immediately noticed Long Yu, who was above his head. Heaven Suppressing Charm, Soul Stirring Fist. Duanmu Cunlong hollered, and the silhouette of a true spirit Jiao dragon appeared behind him, and with an angry roar, it flew towards Long Yu. It's the Flood Dragon True Spirit. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat, and then he released the heaven-suppressing aura and continued to attack with a 9 nether dragon fist. Even though he had comprehended the heaven-suppressing aura, due to the difference in their realms, his heaven-suppressing aura was about the same strength as Duanmu Cunlong's heaven-suppressing charm. The realms of the laws they comprehended offset each other, but could Long Yu's 9 nether dragon fist, which was condensed with a 9 nether chi, fight against the Flood Dragon True Spirit? Let me see if a mere Flood Dragon can compare to a 9 nether dragon. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes as he activated the 9 nether dragon seal. Immediately, the 9 nether chi wrapped around his body. 9 nether dragon fist with one punch, the Yellow Springs wailed, and the 9 nether trembled. With a loud bang, Long Yu's fist collided with the Flood Dragon True Spirit's silhouette. Then, the Flood Dragon True Spirit's silhouette roared, and a tyrannical heaven-suppressing aura burst out, sending Long Yu flying. The power of the True Spirit is indeed too strong, Long Yu thought in his heart. However, at this moment, he suddenly came to a realization. Before coming to the Ling clan villa, he cultivated in the clan valley for 3 days, and his heaven-suppressing aura had made great progress. He was only one opportunity away from comprehending the realm. Now, after a series of fierce battles, he finally broke through this bottleneck and grasped this opportunity. Heaven-suppressing realm. Long Yu's figure was sent flying by the Flood Dragon True Spirit silhouette, but at the same time, an incomparably powerful pressure was released from Long Yu's body. Realm. At the moment when he clashed with Duanmu Cunlong's Flood Dragon True Spirit's silhouette, Long Yu finally mastered the heaven-suppressing realm. In the Heavenly Mandate continent, martial arts practitioners could only master greater power and borrow the laws of heaven and earth by cultivating the mind method. As for the comprehension of the mind method, it was divided into 4 realms. The first was the conception, followed by the divine charm, followed by the heaven and earth force, and finally, the realm. If one mastered the realm, he could borrow the laws of heaven and earth with just a wave of his hand. This was undoubtedly a qualitative leap for the combat effectiveness of martial arts practitioners. As Long Yu released the heaven-suppressing realm, the area within a radius of 200 feet around him became his realm. The realm, I finally broke through. Long Yu stood on the ground and raised his head to look at Duanmu Cunlong. Although the realm and the heaven and earth force were only one realm apart, the difference between the two was like heaven and earth. Not to mention the difference between the divine charm and the realm. Duanmu Cunlong felt a terrifying pressure shrouding him, causing the chi in his body to stagnate and his limbs to stiffen. Even a casual movement required a great deal of strength. This scene made Duanmu, Songlong's expression change greatly. The realm. It's the heaven-suppressing realm. How is this possible? Duanmu Songlong's eyes were filled with fear. How could a mere ninth tier of the martial path comprehend the heaven-suppressing realm? One had to know that even Duanmu Songlong, who had condensed his true spirit, could not master the realm, and it was still very far away. How could this Long Yu master the realm? However, the powerful aura that emanated from Long Yu's body was indeed the pressure of the realm. Without a doubt, even Duanmu Songlong, who had condensed his true spirit, was completely suppressed by Long Yu's heaven-suppressing realm. The serpent dragon true spirit immediately withered. Not to mention Yang Tiansua, who was enveloped by the heaven-suppressing realm, was unable to resist the pressure. He knelt on the ground, his face covered in cold sweat and his eyes filled with disbelief. What kind of freak was this Long Yu? The heaven-suppressing realm suppresses everything under the heavens. Everyone around me will be suppressed by my realm. Long Yu could even clearly sense the various details within a radius of 20 feet around him. Even a flow of yin qi was being grasped by him, and he was aware of it. He took a step forward, and the heaven-suppressing realm's pressure on Duanmu Songlong intensified, causing Duanmu Songlong's body to tremble. Nine Hell's explosion. Long Yu's eyes flashed with a cold light. Since he had intimidated Duanmu Songlong, he would not show any mercy. He punched the ground. Punk. It was as if the entire pit had been shaken by his punch. Then a gust of Nine Hell's chi instantly condensed into an explosion and gushed out from Duanmu Songlong's feet, enveloping his entire figure in green. As a fellow disciple of the Jintian clan, I did not want to touch you. However, since you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. Long Yu stood up, stood still, and retracted the heaven-suppressing realm. If others do not offend me, I will not offend them. The Nine Hells explosion erupted, accompanied by Duanmu Songlong's tragic cry. Then there was no more sound. Enveloped by Long Yu's heaven-suppressing field, even with Duanmu Songlong's cultivation realm, he was unable to move at all. He was instantly killed by Long Yu's nine nether explosive current. Although Yang Tiansua no longer had the pressure of the heaven-suppressing realm, he still knelt on the ground, trembling. He looked at where Duanmu Songlong was, but after the Nine Hells' chi dissipated, what appeared in front of him was a corroded corpse. He could not help but shiver. "You're a demon. You're a demon." Yang Tiansua looked at Long Yu's black figure and shouted in panic. Rumble. Long Yu moved his feet, his figure flickered, and he swept out with the Nine Hells dragon spear. Layers of spear shadows. The terrifying lethality killed Yang Tiansua in an instant, causing him to widen his eyes and fall to the ground. Long Yu had never been a kind person. Since the other party wanted to kill him, he had to resist with all his might. If he was just an ordinary ninth-stage martial path cultivator, he would have died many times over. He killed to protect himself, that was all. Thick yin qi filled the air, accompanied by Nine Hells chi. The area around Long Yu was silent, with only Duanmu Songlong and Yang Tiansua's corpses lying on the ground. He was the only one left standing. However, Long Yu was not the only one watching this scene. Wonderful, wonderful. A laugh that was neither male nor female seemed to come from all directions and entered Long Yu's ears, causing his heart to tremble. Is it Hua Buxi? This caused Long Yu to tense up. Hua Buxi was an expert at the second layer of the true spirit realm. He was much stronger than Duanmu Songlong. Most importantly, the murderous intent coming from all directions. Long Yu knew that Hua Buxi must have known that he was the one who killed Hua Yun and Hua Qing in the ancient ginseng forest. And this was naturally told to him by Feng Yao. Otherwise, how could he know? Feng Yao. Long Yu squinted his eyes. The feud between him and Feng Yao had increased once again. If it was the Long Yu from not too long ago, if he encountered Hua Buxi, his only option would be to flee for his life. If he relied on the nether dragon's soaring leap, he would be able to leap 100 feet nimbly. Hua Buxi might not be able to catch up to him. But now that Long Yu had comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain, he wanted to have a fight with Hua Buxi. Although his opponent was strong, being a second-stage, true spirit realm cultivator, the power of the heaven-suppressing domain was not ordinary. Under the suppression of the heaven-suppressing domain, Long Yu believed that he would not be defeated so easily. At the very least, he could test the strength of a second-stage, true spirit realm cultivator. While he was still deep in thought, the sound of sharp weapons piercing through the air could be heard from all directions. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A large number of sharp petals and leaves flew over from all directions. At this moment, in front of Long Yu, behind him, left, right, and above him, all directions were filled with flying petals and leaves, piercing through the vast sky and flying towards him. Chapter 104. The flower-plucking flying leaves was a high-grade martial technique of the Hua family. Long Yu had never heard of the Hua family before. It must be a family from another city in the Great Tang Kingdom, similar to the Feng family from Jade Pass City. Although the flower-plucking flying leaves was only a high-grade martial technique, its power was far beyond Long Yu's imagination when it was executed by Hua Buxi, who was at level 2 of the True Spirit's secret realm. Domain release. Long Yu could have used the Nether Dragon leaping technique to leap 1,000 feet and leave this place. However, he wanted to see the difference between him and Hua Buxi, so he chose to release his heaven-suppressing domain in an attempt to suppress the sharp petals and leaves. The moment the heaven-suppressing domain was released, the area within 200 feet around Long Yu was completely covered by the heaven-suppressing law. The petals that were flying towards him were instantly suppressed, their speed reduced by more than half. Long Yu executed the heaven-suppressing spear art with a 9 Nether Dragon spear, and with a sweep of his spear, all the petals and leaves fell to the ground. The powerful attack of Hua Buxi, who was at level 2 of the True Spirit's secret realm, was instantly countered by Long Yu. Where is he? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat as he looked around. A thick fog blocked his vision, making it impossible for him to see where Hua Buxi was. He wanted to track down his opponent based on his murderous intent, but Hua Buxi's murderous intent came from all directions, making it impossible for Long Yu to pinpoint his opponent's location. He's too fast. Long Yu was a little puzzled. If his opponent did not show himself and simply moved around 200 feet away, he would not be able to deal with him even with the heaven-suppressing domain. Forget about defeating Hua Buxi. He would not even be able to withstand his opponent's attack for long. This was because the heaven-suppressing domain consumed too much of his energy. Even though his Dantian had been tempered and his Xian-Qi recovery rate had doubled, the Xian-Qi in his body still dissipated like flowing water after he released the heaven-suppressing domain. Even if he was at his peak, he would only be able to maintain the heaven-suppressing domain for 5 minutes before his Xian-Qi was completely depleted. Looks like before I condense my true spirit, even if I have comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain, it's still not suitable to fight for a long time. Long Yu thought to himself. The heaven-suppressing domain could only temporarily suppress his opponent and increase his explosive power. Right now, it was still difficult for him to win against an expert at the second layer of the true spirit realm, such as Hua Buxi. Most importantly, even if Long Yu relied on the supreme rank martial skill, 9 Abyss Dragon Fist, it would be difficult for him to injure his opponent, much less kill him. The 9th rank of the martial path and the 2nd rank of the True Spirit's secret realm had a difference of 7 to 8 times. Even if it was Long Yu, he would not be able to overcome such a huge gap and kill his opponent. Not bad. It's actually a domain. It's much stronger than I imagined. No wonder you could kill my beloved brother and sister. Hua Buxi's androgynous voice drifted over from all directions, making it impossible to pinpoint his location. Then, the sound of sharp qi tearing through the air continued to be heard. Once again, sharp petals and leaves rained down on Long Yu like a storm. Hua Buxi must have seen how Long Yu had killed Duanmu, Song Long, with a single punch, so he did not intend to fight him head-on. Instead, he planned to exhaust all of Long Yu's Xianqi first. Heaven suppressing domain. Long Yu released his domain and brandished his spear. The 9 abyss chi burst out with layers of spear shadows, once again destroying all the petals and leaves. However, he still had no idea where his opponent was. Is this the only way to defend? I don't have much Xianqi left in my body. Long Yu's heart sank. Hua Buxi was much stronger than him. There was no doubt about that. If that was the case, the other 3 experts at the second layer of the True Spirit Secret Realm would also be the same. Long Yu had no chance of winning against any of them. The gap between the realms is too difficult to overcome, Long Yu thought to himself as he swung his 9 abyss dragon spear. A gust of chi rolled up, allowing him to leap hundreds of feet into the air. In an instant, he rushed out of the deep pit. He lowered his head and looked around. His body was completely shrouded in thick yin chi, making it impossible to see who was in the deep pit. However, he was keenly aware that the yin chi in the entire pit seemed to be gradually dispersing in all directions, causing the visibility in the pit to be much greater than before. It's starting to disperse? Long Yu furrowed his brows, after which his entire body shot down like a meteor, landing on another location within the deep pit. This jump allowed him to leap hundreds of feet into the air, freeing him from Hua Buxi's pursuit, especially in the deep pit that was filled with dense yin chi. Hua Buxi would not have been able to locate him, if not for the huge commotion caused by the battle between Long Yu and Duanmu, Song Long. Hua Buxi would not have been able to locate Long Yu. I should take this opportunity to rest. Long Yu hid in the dense yin chi and immediately sat down cross-legged. He urged his dantian to beat in sync with his heart, quickly recovering the xianqi he had used up. The deep pit was vast, and everything within hundreds of feet was shrouded in yin chi. However, this yin chi was gradually dissipating. As Long Yu sat down to rest, he occasionally heard footsteps coming from nearby. Only then did he raise his guard and shift his position slightly. Very quickly, the other party had gone far away again. Even after Long Yu had completely recovered his xianqi, no one had been able to locate him. This made him secretly heave a sigh of relief. He stood up and looked around. Suddenly, he realized that the yin chi in the deep pit was becoming thinner and thinner. Through the gray and hazy yin chi, he could occasionally see figures moving about hundreds of feet away. The yin chi is dispersing. As Long Yu thought of this, he saw that all the yin chi in the deep pit was dispersing out of the deep pit. More than half of it had disappeared. At this moment, he was somewhat thankful that the yin chi had dispersed after he had fully recovered. Otherwise, he would have to face Hua Buxi's pursuit first. Although he was not afraid of the other party, if he was not in a good state, it would be terrible if he failed miserably. He only had one life, so Long Yu had to be careful. As the yin chi gradually dissipated, the entire scene in the deep pit fell into the eyes of Long Yu and the others. This was an abandoned mine that had been dug out. The bottom of the mine was full of potholes and was uneven. From the cracks at the bottom of the mine, dense yin chi continuously seeped out. It was this yin chi that caused the deep pit to become gray and hazy. However, at this moment, the yin chi that was constantly seeping out quickly dispersed in all directions. No one knew what had happened. Long Yu surveyed his surroundings and saw that there were already dozens of people who had entered the deep pit. At this moment, the dozens of people were facing off against each other. Even if some of them noticed Long Yu, they did not pay much attention to him. In the eyes of these people, a mere rank 9 martial path cultivator was not worth mentioning. Only a thin man in a red robe with a bewitching face paid a little attention to Long Yu. It was Hua Buxi, who had attacked Long Yu previously. However, Hua Buxi did not rush over to kill Long Yu. Instead, he was discussing something with a few others. In the field, 4 experts had gathered together. Biang, Huafu, Hua Buxi, and Lu Yuan. The four experts of the rank 2 true spirit realm had gathered together. Among them, Huofu looked the most excited, Biang had a graceful smile on his face, and Hua Buxi had a cold expression on his face. As for Lu Yuan, who was dressed in black, she had stabbed her 2 scarlet short swords into the ground. Her alluring figure was leaning on the sword hilt. Her long black hair was like a willow, hanging down to her waist. As the wind blew, it tugged at the heartstrings of the crowd. Her entire body exuded an intoxicating charm. Not only was Lu Yuan's martial path powerful, but her appearance was also incomparable to an ordinary woman's. Even Long Yu couldn't help but think that even Feng Yao's beauty was nothing in front of Lu Yuan. She was instantly outshone by her beauty. Apart from the 4 experts, Long Yu also noticed that there were quite a number of other people in the field. Wang Tianzhua from the royal city's Wang family, along with his henchman Lu Mingsheng, 2 guards of the rank 1 true spirit realm, and Feng Yao, were standing by the side. When the yin qi in the mind had completely dissipated, Feng Yao finally saw Long Yu. A hint of surprise flashed in her eyes, but she quickly returned to normal, as if she had not seen Long Yu at all. She now knew that Long Yu was no longer the good-for-nothing he used to be. He had turned into an extremely talented martial cultivator. However, she still did not have a good impression of Long Yu. If not for Long Yu, her father, Feng Changge, and mother, Lu Yu, would not have quarreled with each other like this. As for Wang Tianzhua and Lu Mingsheng, they both looked at Long Yu with cold smiles on their faces. Now that Long Yu was still at the rank 9 martial path, Wang Tianzhua, and the 2 true spirit realm guards of the Wang family could definitely kill him easily to vent his hatred. Besides them, Ian, Lu Shucheng, and Hua Yilun were also standing at the side. When the 3 of them looked at Long Yu, they were a little surprised. Why was there only Long Yu, but not Ling Han, Lu Guanming, and Ling Yue? There were quite a number of corpses in the mine. It seemed that before the yin qi had dissipated, there had been quite a number of conflicts. Duanmu Zonglong and Yang Tianzua's corpses lay in the mine, but no one bothered to find out who had killed them. This was because there were a total of 10 corpses in the mine. No one paid any attention to the dead. Ling Han and the others are not here, so they should be hiding in some corner. That's good too. Long Yu quietly retreated when he saw the situation. There were too many people here, and too many people want to kill him. It was better for him not to join in the fun. The 4 experts quickly came to a conclusion. No one was willing to give in to the lunar fragment. The conclusion of the discussion was that when the lunar fragment appeared, they would fight for it with their own means. After the discussion, Hua Buxi immediately tried to find traces of Long Yu. However, when he looked around, he realized that Long Yu had long disappeared. He did not know which corner he was hiding in. Wang Tianzhua, didn't you say that you would help me deal with Lu Yuan? Feng Yao, who was slender and elegant, occasionally glanced at Lu Yuan at the side before questioning Wang Tianzhua. Wang Tianzhua had put it nicely, but now that Lu Yuan was right in front of him, he was terrified. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.